It's like I can't walk on the ceiling. Oh yeah, got me dreaming, dreaming in colors I never dreamed in. Oh yeah, I let you in deeper than I let anyone else before. Fell in love with my broken pieces, took them all and made them yours. Didn't know what my heartbeat needed, skipping out, no I can't keep score. When I lose my breath, boy, you got me breathing. Oh, every little thing you do, every time you hold me, take me higher, higher. Every little thing you do, every time you hold me, take me higher, higher. Oh, magic. No, I'm never letting go. Now that I have it with you. When you kiss me, it's like the stars fall out the sky onto my heart to cover up what I don't wanna show. I let you in deeper than I let anyone else before. Fell in love with my broken pieces, took them all and made them yours. Didn't know what my heartbeat needed, skipping out, no I can't keep score. When I lose my breath, boy, you got me breathing. Oh, every little thing you do, every time you hold me, take me higher, higher. Every little thing you do, every time you hold me, take me higher, higher. Oh, you take me higher, you take me higher, baby, you take me higher, you take me higher, baby, you take me higher, you take me higher, baby, you take me higher, yeah, you take me higher, baby.
Evening, good night, good evening, whatever time it is for you. Marlon, where are you?
Sorry. Welcome to Saturday Night Vitamin Grills, a new show with Let's Be Yesery. I am your host, Marlon Clyburn, along with Tracy Carson and Anna Hard. Theas Robinson will be on later on today. And yes, as you see, welcome to the third season of Saturday Night Vibe. We have made it another year. We are going to take it a little easy while still talking about Black History Month. And we're going to discuss the history of rap and hip hop. And of course, because I decided to talk about the history of rap and hip hop, somewhere along the way, I have to pull in freaking Motown. So somewhere down the line, we'll talk about the Motown and its effects on everybody. But until then, please, if you are new here, which is a possibility that you are, because, hello, we only 4 people away. 4 people away from our first 100 subscribers. We literally came up to this date. So I looked at it before I even came on air. We picked up 10 new subscribers in 1 week. Everything is working. Everything is working. So please do not forget to like. Please do not forget to share. Please do not forget to subscribe. Please hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on anything that we do here. And of course, please do not even forget, don't even try to forget to not go to Tracy Carson's YouTube website. Take a look at some of her shows, especially her show from last night. Tracy, say something about that because I'll say it wrong anyway. So,
High Heels and Blue Jeans
oh yeah,
premiered last night. And boy, did we have a great time.
We had fun.
We just had so much fun. It was just great, especially the part where people started discussing a topic that I'm going to have, I think, next week. Yeah, next week. I'm officially doing the top 20 useless superheroes and their sidekicks countdown. And we had some suggestions, but then it kind of veered off into greatest. I'm like, no, I'm doing the useless ones, not the ones that we like, the ones we don't like. So it was just a great time. And of course, Anna is with me too. It's not just me by myself.
Yes, it is. It's the girl show. You guys have the guy show. We have the girl show, and it was lots and lots of fun. I think what was most fun for me was just our conversation went anywhere and everywhere.
Didn't it though? I mean,
Hmm.
I demonstrated how I put on my diabetic sensor.
You did.
what's the difference between that and our
You did.
show, which goes
Really?
everywhere?
I've never demonstrated on this show how I put my sensor on. I don't think I've ever pulled that one out.
No, you haven't. I'm just
We
saying.
haven't
No,
really
no, I
gotten
was saying
into
the part
how.
about and the show went everywhere. It's like, yeah, our show goes everywhere. We have rarely stood on one topic.
I don't think any of us are capable, to be honest. No, we
Mm.
we we float topic to topic.
So let's see who is all out there right now. Hello, my beautiful wife. How are
Can I
you?
say it like your
Hello.
braids?
Thank you.
You are looking sharp tonight, Mr. Clyburn.
Like a lot
Thank you
Sharp.
younger.
very
Not
much.
that you looked old, but I'm just saying you look younger. And that's a compliment.
It is a compliment. If y'all know
Turn around
Tracy,
though. Oh, listen.
good Lord, I ain't doing all that now. This ain't no. Um, no rap or hip hop for me. I'm from the age of Motown. Okay, okay. I have to check it out, Tracy. I don't know what to say to that. Okay. Parker, hey, what's up? Yes, I enjoy
You
Boots and
know
Heels
what,
show.
Parker? High Heels and Blue Jeans is the name of the podcast.
Oh, that
What's
is
really
right.
funny is I wear neither high heels nor blue jeans.
And I wear both.
I
Hmm.
enjoy Anna's show with her mother. Watched it a couple of days ago. That is right. Foxy did watch your latest video. Um, not too long ago.
About anxiety?
Yep.
Yep, that
No,
was a
no,
tough
no,
one.
no, no, no. No, she didn't.
No,
No, she
no.
watched the one where you was given the definition of Borrelia
Oh,
and
okay.
etc. So it was a while back because I do remember saying, "Honey, that's not the latest video," but okay.
We're still telling the story. It's 25 years long. It's gonna take a while.
But the funny thing about it is, and then we're gonna move on. I actually like what you said, and I never thought of it as Borrelia, etc. Because we don't need you to think Borrelia is this. Well, what about this? That too. What about this? That too. So it is Borrelia,
Yeah,
etc. It's this
there's a lot that
and a
comes
whole
in those
bunch
three
more.
letters.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Marlon got his hair changed. Yep. New season, new me.
Music is
Collar
fantastic.
shirt, everything.
Everybody's looking great.
Yeah, I hope y'all enjoy this because come next week, I'm going right back to my t-shirt. I got to wear this Monday through Friday. I ain't wearing this all Saturday too. Anyway, let's get this party started. So we're gonna start off like we should on every subject because there's some people who know of rap and hip hop. I mean, I'm sorry if you don't. I have not a clue how you couldn't. I don't know a freaking thing about country music. I know country music exists, so stop pretending like you don't know what rap music is. So, but just in case we all want to play stupid, let's get a small little introduction into the life of rap and hip hop.
Rap and hip hop began in the 1970s on the streets of New York City, specifically in the Bronx. It started as a form of pure showmanship at block parties or other social gatherings at places like recreation centers and parks. Disc jockeys, more commonly known as DJs or MCs, would compete with each other by layering and remixing beats at their turntables and rhyming over the beats while friends battled it out in informal breakdancing competitions. After the civil rights victories of the 1960s, like the Civil Rights Act of 1964 and the Voting Rights Act of 1965, Black communities experienced a decreased interest in their political and economic well-being from the government and policymakers. The result was a lack of investment in Black communities and their social infrastructure, resulting in staggering poverty rates, increased police surveillance, and ambiguous messaging from former allies of the Black liberation struggle. At the same time, the country was seeing the burgeoning Black arts movement of the 1960s and 1970s, which emphasized radical visions of reimagining Blackness through music, visual art, poetry, theater, and literature. Hip-hop was in many ways an extension of this artistic project. And in the years that followed, Black communities turned to hip-hop counterculture as an outlet for self-expression and freedom dreaming.
So first of all, off the bat, did y'all know it started in the 70s? Because when you say the 70s to me, the only thing that pops in my mind is disco. And disco, funk, Parliament, whatever, which I never did like Parliament at all. Just was not my thing. But it did start in the 70s. And I have to be honest, it may have been the late 70s, 78, 79, but let's go ahead and say it was in the 70s. If it was, it wasn't that big because disco, everything.
Disco Jug.
It was the early 70s, actually, in Brooklyn, and I was lucky enough to grow up on Long Island where I got to hear a lot of underground stuff in the 80s and 90s. But it was early. We just had the 50th anniversary, so it was early in the 70s.
Well, shut me up then. Yes, it was. So let's go ahead and move on to the 4 pillars. What makes up the 4 pillars of rap? If you used to say, what you have to have these things in order to have rap and hip hop. These 4 pillars of rap and hip hop.
The origins of hip hop can be roughly categorized by 4 main pillars, although we should note that it contains multiple forms of artistic expression that don't fit neatly into any specific category, especially as the genre has grown and evolved over time. But let's take a look at these 4 pillars in the thought bubble. The first is DJing, or making music and beats using record players, turntables, and DJ mixers. This had never been done before and completely revolutionized the sound and texture of the music. It also allowed DJs to become sort of orchestrators, basically using their turntables like a conductor would use their baton. The second pillar is rapping, or making rhythmic vocal rhymes over the beats created by DJs. Both DJing and rapping have diasporic roots within the Black community, drawing on traditions of African-American gospel call and response, West African storytelling, and Jamaican remixing and music sampling, just to name a few. The third pillar is graffiti painting. Movies like Wild Style and Beat Street helped to popularize the connection between hip-hop and graffiti. Sometimes, graffiti gets a bad rep, and it's tied to images of social decay and urban blight. But the truth is that many graffiti artists are incredibly talented, and some of the work they create serves as a direct challenge to the idea that beautiful art can only be found in a fancy museum or a gallery. The fourth and final pillar is breakdancing, a style of dance that encompasses attitude, style, and oftentimes acrobatic agility. Now, real-life Clint would never dare try this on camera because my knees would be paying for it tomorrow, but animated Clint doesn't have to worry about sore knees and is always down to break it down. Thanks, Thought Bubble. Now,
Ah,
I knew you were gonna say something. I forgot to even warn because I forgot that was part of. Don't put none of your options, your opinions in it.
Just
Even though this
he
show,
had me right up until breakdancing. Right up
oh,
until
you could not,
breakdancing.
you could
Oh
not,
gosh, I
in
hated
any way,
breakdancing.
shape, or
you cannot
form have the 80s
take one
without
from the other.
breakdancing.
I hate breakdancing.
Love
It
the
is so
breakdancing.
stupid. They do the same 3 moves.
Nope,
Spin
they
on
don't.
top of their
And
head.
No,
Spin around in
you literally
circles.
saw
no,
Do
the
this
same
all the
no.
time. Oh
You
gosh.
No,
you saw the same 3 moves. You
I am so sorry that you've never seen
Everything on
actual.
dance beat. I'm like, do something else. Tap dance. Do something. No, I cannot stand breakdancing. No, 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 no.
what?
He had
Do
me right up
something
until he
else.
got to breakdancing. I'm like, not
Okay, so we
breakdancing.
do anything other than break dancing, like tap dancing, it would be called tap dancing. It wouldn't be break dancing anymore. It's ours. That's like do something else like ballroom dancing. Okay, it's not ballroom dancing.
At least
It's
it's
not break
dancing. I'm
dancing.
like, all
It's
y'all
ballroom
doing is
dancing.
spinning on y'all head and spinning on your back.
No.
Blah, blah, blah.
No, I'm
Yeah.
sorry. If you saw the same 3 moves,
Popping comes from.
And that's even worse. Popping is even worse.
you never saw Beat Street. You never saw
I
break.
did see
You.
Breach Street
And
and
you
I saw
couldn't dance. They
Breaking.
do the whole movie. They did 3 moves.
I don't like breakdancing. Period. Don't.
I'm sorry.
Everything else about the hip
Not
hop, I was like, yup, I agree. Yup, Colin Sponge. Yup, breakdown. I'm
Now,
like,
and I'm the one taking up for breakdancing, and I couldn't breakdance. I tried my best, and I was the legitimate one person that could only do 3 dances, and one was the suicide where you just do a 4 flip and land on your back, which was dumb as hell because
yeah, you're gonna break your back.
yeah, I'm surprised I didn't, or it's finally catching up to me. It just was whatever, but yeah. But breakdancing and rapping and DJing. Now, granted, I grew up a little more on DJing more
Yeah.
in the streets. I grew up more DJing. You know what I'm saying? What I saw personally, it was a lot more DJs than it was rappers in my neighborhood. Everybody had a turntable. Everybody had a boom box. Everybody had their own mixtape. Everybody had the the big boom box that took up 19 triple D batteries that only lasted a day, and your mom get mad at you because she ain't buy no more damn batteries. That's what I grew up with. What that much rapping because the only time I got into rapping was probably at school during recess, and everybody get into a circle and do rap and underline cussing each other out and insults and stuff like that. So I didn't really grow up with personalized rap, not in the 80s. But DJing, oh yeah.
Yep, everybody thought they was the spin master.
Everybody had their little turntable, and everybody was messing up grandma's turntable. And sir, will you stop? Because you don't know how to replace
And they
that.
thought they was doing good. You couldn't tell them. You could not tell. Don't do that. Let the professionals do it.
Oh, you gotta be.
So you've never been in a room where everybody has a thesaurus and they're all trying to figure out the best words to put in? Oh, I was a part of so many of those.
And I'm sorry that I offend anybody, but the difference between, and it's getting better, so just before anybody just lose their ever-loving mind, rap music is getting better, but y'all had a time when that wasn't rap or hip-hop or whatever it was. So here's my little backhanded insult. AITAH, Remember when we actually wanted to rhyme a word?
Oh my gosh. Thank
Remember
you.
those days when you couldn't just sit there and say a word and then forget that you started off with that word and skip to something else? We're gonna come and have some fun. So no, 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 no. No. That is not a rhyme.
We're not going to talk about mumble rap, right? We got to.
Absolutely. That's not
Thank
rap.
you.
That's not
Yeah,
rap.
thank you. I just want to make sure when we talk about hip hop, we're not including mumble rap. Oh
I'm
my.
not
And we're
I'm
not
not
talking about
doing
gangster rap either, right?
gangster rap is rap. Gangster rap is rap. My kids introduced me to hip hop and rap, and I found it loosened up my. Because basically, that's what rap was, poetry. It was
It
poetry to
was.
music. It was the first form of poetry to music before you got to those little poetries in the library. And okay, I'm not even gonna talk about that because some of the stuff that come
What
out of
it
hip
is
hop.
now, I'm like,
Anna, don't look at me. You've been to that library where they say some stuff that's just like, what the hell did I just listen to? Did you say you was a cloud and you don't want to rain no more because the sun is too hot? What the hell is you talking about? Why can't you
I'm
be?
sorry, but that's not good poetry.
that's really not, and I'm not even an expert. I'm like, that's terrible.
Ooh, that they ooh. You got to go to poetry night at a library or a center, and the most popular people I feel are popular because they come every week, not because their
Mm-hmm.
stuff is good. Because they
Yeah,
will say
right,
some
right.
stuff that's just like,
I
I'm sorry,
thirst because
what?
my throat is dry. What the heck you talking?
And these,
Yeah.
Anna, I'm black because of my skin.
And
No, that's their point.
No, that was it.
That's
That was
it. That's all. Don't say
it's
nothing
not
else.
really a poem, though.
it. That was a sentence.
And then they snap their
That wasn't even
finger.
a
That's
sentence. That was a statement. That wasn't even a
that's
sentence.
part. That's part. Yes.
Oh, and hello, Mother Heart. I'm sorry. That was so rude. Hello, Mother
Hi,
Heart.
Mama.
I bet Tracy loved
I'm a
DMX.
KRS-One fan. Thank you very
Oh,
much.
Lord, yeah. KRS-One, Public Enemy.
Grandmaster Flash, Run DMC. I mean, I could go. Hey, I could name the whole gamut.
See? NWA.
NWA.
Hold on for a split second. I really, 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 really feel like I'm missing a video. I am. Knew I was. Cause y'all was clicking off people, so so let's come on. Let's go down memory lane and let's call some of these people out.
We can't talk about hip hop and rap without talking about the people and personalities that made the music. Groups like Grandmaster Flash and the Furious Five were pioneers of the genre, and they laid the groundwork for folks that would come after with their lyrical dexterity and social commentary. One of the most politically charged music groups in history, Public Enemy, came onto the scene in the late 1980s. They employ the rhetoric of black nationalism and black militancy and embrace revolutionary ideas like overthrowing the government. Their hit single, Fight the Power, was released in 1989 and featured in director Spike Lee's classic film, Do the Right Thing. The song tackled racism head-on and called on black people to challenge and fight back against white supremacy. Other groups and artists that were contemporaries of Public Enemy include Run DMC, Eric B. and Rakim, Salt and Pepper, Beastie Boys, LL Cool J, Queen Latifah, and A Tribe Called Quest. Each of these artists brought a complex mix of style, lyrical prowess, and artistry to their work that looked to challenge social norms.
They forgot the queen. They forgot the queen.
Ooh.
MC Light. You can't tell me. MC Light is.
MC Light is second.
Second to who?
Queen Latifah.
No, MC Light is a way better rapper than Queen Latifah.
In your dreams.
No,
In your dreams. MC
no,
Lighting
MC Light.
MC Light has always been the second best rapper behind Queen Latifah.
MC
And
Light
then,
is
and then it literally just falls from
they
that point.
look. Queen Latifah is good. Don't get me wrong. Love Queen Latifah, but MC Light. Oh no, you can't. No. And then Roxanne Shante, and then the Sugar Hill Gang. They the ones that made rap. Don't start, boy. Y'all can go. Y'all can make me go down memory lane, man.
But
Don't
you said
do
a
this.
pioneer, so Roxanne Shante was not a pioneer at all.
But she had that one good song.
UTFO, surprisingly enough, was a pioneer, and not too many people know why. Because they give the credit to LL Cool J, and that's not true. They keep saying that LL was the first one that did a rap ballad. LL Cool J was not the first to do a rap ballad. UTFO had their first rap ballad. It sucked, but it was the first rap ballad, not LL Cool J. So understandable. I get why people would, because it was a good, LL's version was
a whole lot better.
Was a whole lot better.
A whole lot better.
And of course, more popular than UTFO. But as for being the first, no, that was UTFO. But the names, Eric B and Rakim, I don't even know how I even forgot them.
I'm sitting there like, Trey, you the goddamn Public Enemy. I'm like, oh, I forgot all about Public Enemy.
Public Enemy. Fight the Power.
And they had more hits than Fight the Power. They had, I know they did. I just can't name their whole catalog.
No, but and the Kings for a really long time until things started changing. I think now one of the things it was Eric B and Rakim that changed the rhythm of how you say rap. Cause when I was growing up, the rap lyrics was on beat. It was da 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 da. It was always on beat. Eric B and Rakim's way of rapping sounds to me like it was one beat behind, but it worked. And ever since then, everybody started doing that type of rap. So but before that, the Kings of Rap, Run DMC.
Oh yeah, they sure
really
were.
Long time.
They Christmas album? Oh boy, there you talk about a whole Christmas album by a rap artist. I have yet to see another rapper duplicate that. I have yet to see it.
Got a new person. Don't believe the hype. 911 is a joke. Bring in the noise.
Noise. Thank you, Random Rick.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, and welcome, sir, ma'am.
Bring in the
Rick,
noise.
so sir.
Rakim,
always
absolutely.
It was my way of actually trying to separate old school rap and new school rap. And it started with Eric B and Rakim. It started with those two because their version of rap. And believe me, I was the first to say, I don't like this. It's not on beat. It's not on beat. And the next thing you know, the more I listened to it, I went, yeah, it is on beat. It was just a different version of being on beat. And everybody followed suit. Everybody followed right behind it, and it became popular. We've never looked back from them. Hello. Before we go to the next one, everybody, don't forget to hit that like button. Go ahead and tell the algorithm that we are live. The more likes we get, the more comments we get, the more the algorithm is going to let everybody know right here, right now, that we are alive. So go ahead and hit that like button if you haven't already. And unfortunately, as much as fun as we've been having, we can't forget that rap and hip hop had some darker moments. So let's go ahead and introduce East Coast versus West Coast.
Artists, some of whom were formerly affiliated with rival gangs, to represent their neighborhoods in competitions against other rap groups from hubs like Harlem, Brooklyn, and the Bronx. Wu-Tang painted vivid pictures of urban life using the language of the streets. But this was more than just slang for them. They created a new lexicon that weaved together rhetoric with diverse influences, including the 5% Nation, an offshoot of the Nation of Islam, philosophy, Asian cinema, and food. So these groups and artists were engaging in a complex nexus of intersecting identities and influences, even as they were pioneering their own new forms of expression. As hip-hop began to take over the mainstream as a dominant countercultural voice by the 1990s, some rappers and black record label owners became millionaires seemingly overnight. Rap artists like Notorious B.I.G., Tupac Shakur, and their supporting record labels, Bad Boy Records, led by Sean Puffy Combs, and Death Row Records, led by Suge Knight, epitomized the infamous East Coast versus West Coast rivalry. Biggie and Bad Boy represented the original New York City-centric roots of hip-hop, while Tupac and Death Row represented the expansion of hip-hop outside of its regional New York roots by offering a distinctly California sound. In the late 1980s, rappers Too Short, NWA, and Ice-T had already pioneered hip-hop on the West Coast. Coming out of economically depressed areas in Los Angeles and Oakland, their lyrics often reflected personal experiences. Some of NWA's most popular and most controversial songs served as a direct response to the police brutality they witnessed in their own neighborhoods and questioned the very legitimacy of policing, an institution that many felt was only there to surveil and harass black people.
And boy, did they feel it. Boy, they hated NWA. Boy, they hated Ice-T. They couldn't stand them people for basically telling everybody how they was brought up. Poor babies. Because you didn't go through it and because you drunk the Kool-Aid that the police for everybody was fair and equitable and always looking out for the best interests of everybody, even though these people are telling you, this is what I live through every single freaking day. Every day since I can remember. And I'm putting it to music. And they lost their mind. I remember the NWA story of they needed the police literally told before they got off the bus, the police literally said, we need to see what your chart is before you go on stage. And if there's any songs on there we don't like, you can't go on there. And if you still do it, we're going to arrest you. Why? We'll come up with something because you're in our town. So, yeah. It was a short period of time, at least I knew in Charlotte, it was a short period of time, but for the fact that it did happen, Anna, Tracy, they could pull you over and give you a ticket for the music you was listening to in the car. If it was NWA, if it was Ice-T, if it was any of these things, it's deemed vulgar. They can pull you over and give you a ticket for it. Even if it wasn't loud.
Too loud.
No, even if it wasn't loud.
Well, they would make up.
Yeah, they'll say it was too loud. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
but in vulgar and demeaning languages was the thing that they used
out in public. Like, come on now.
Come on, you're cussing me out right now. You're cussing out loud to me right now, telling me how vulgar my music is.
Mm. Let's say FTP.
It's back up.
Oh, let's say what happened.
Yeah, YouTube took you down for a couple seconds there. Policy violation. You crossed over. Congratulations.
Apparently so. Streaming unavailable, suspended for public violation.
Yeah, you're back now.
Yeah, that was
wow.
Oh, we're back. Right.
Okay, so
talking about censorship getting canceled. Right. We're talking about censorship and y'all may not know, I have YouTube on all the time just in case, somebody.
Put it to my, I want to kill this person, this person. Yeah, let them get up, put their videos on. But don't say anything about censorship, because then you'll get censored.
Okay, well, let's move on because I don't have time to try to figure out what triggers the algorithm to censor us for 15 seconds or whatever it was, because I didn't even know anything about it. So, okay, let's move. Well, unfortunately, if you think that was bad, let's go ahead and just in case, y'all have a good night and everything, because now we're going to really get into the bad of rap music. So if we on when we come back, thank you. We'll move on until everything else. If they knock us out because we're telling the truth and it hurts their feelings, y'all have a good night. I'll see you tomorrow, maybe not see you ever again. Who knows? But let's go ahead and get into the worst of rap.
Regional differences played a major role in the evolution of rap styles and content. But the coast-to-coast rivalry centered largely on Tupac and Biggie's interpersonal conflict. The rivalry had much to do with competition among their record labels, media coverage, and two talented lyricists with a penchant for quick and rhythmic comebacks on their records. Unfortunately, the conflict between them ended in tragedy, and the still unsolved murders of Tupac Shakur in 1996 and Notorious B.I.G. in 1997. As hip-hop moved further and further into the mainstream, older Americans, both white and black, often viewed it as a symbol of everything that was wrong in black working-class communities. This negative association affected all aspects of black America. Some of the animosity toward hip-hop in the 1990s centered on discomfort with the controversial lyrics, which painted an explicit picture of what many people called ghetto life, in addition to hypersexuality, violence, and misogyny that denigrated women while simultaneously glorifying the image of gang life. One of the strongest opponents of rap music was long-standing civil rights activist and politician C. Dolores Tucker, who campaigned against what she saw as the threat of hip-hop music to black communities. Even more discomfort grew out of the lyrical use of the N-word and unrestrained profanity in hip-hop songs. Hip-hop artists worked to reclaim and repurpose the N-word in their songs by replacing the ER at the end of the word with an A as an act of rebellion against the racial slur. But this argument of reclamation and repurposing wasn't always persuasive, particularly to older black communities who had witnessed the word's use as a much more common slur in the early half of the 20th century. In fact, in 2007, the NAACP would even stage an actual funeral for the N-word, pushing to eliminate it.
I got it now.
Somebody's reporting you.
I got what's going on now. And we're not even on yet, but so I'll wait until we come back on air. We're not back on air yet.
Is somebody reporting the video?
No, the video that I'm showing, all of a sudden now they're copyrighting it and they're suspending it until I stop playing those videos.
Oh.
So
thought bubbles. Okay.
Yeah, so no more thought bubbles. They're done.
Okay.
But you played all the ones last week.
Yeah, exactly. I played them for a long, long time.
It finally got back to them.
Yep. And I should have played a couple of buttons before all of this happened, but.
So you're going to just have to take it off the top of your head.
I mean, would you like me to drop off and tell some people? No? Well, not like I can. Right. Never mind.
Yeah, because people are still commenting on because I got it on my phone.
Yeah, I'm looking at it. Well, hell, I haven't even been swearing yet, but it's weird because he's been able to play them the past several weeks in a row. Yeah.
I'm like,
Is there any timer? Is there any kind of?
The email I got is streaming was interrupted when copyright content is detected after copyright material is no longer being streaming. Streaming is automatically re-enabled.
Okay.
But
And that was the first time.
okay, they must have came up with something new because I've seen tons of people that play stuff.
Well, some people take their videos being renewed very seriously and some don't. And all of a sudden, I don't even know why they're taking these streams very seriously.
And what if you got permission? Like what? Like, hey, I got permission. Here it is.
Because chances are, yeah, let me see if
You
I
would
can
have to go back and challenge with your permission.
We're
Okay,
back
it's
now.
bad.
Okay.
Okay, so here's what we have found out, which is still strange and it doesn't make any sense. So, whatever. The fact that I'm playing those videos from that creator is what's stopping the videos from going. Now, what made it strange, and for people who's new here, I've been playing those videos for weeks on end with no issue. I even played a couple of videos until this happened. So all of a sudden, is they making a big deal about it? I don't know, and that's fine. I can't be mad at you. You are the creators of it. I just thought we was able to use. I'm using your creation to speak on what you're talking about. I'm not degrading it. Well, Tracy did degrade them one time, but I wasn't degrading your videos. I was just using it as an educational purpose for my videos. But if you don't want me to use it, I won't use them. So
Put the links in the description section.
I don't know if that's going to work either. Like I
That
said,
does not.
it doesn't. I think that's
No.
usually just for music in a way. Because they did that for a while with the music that I was playing. That, hey, it was copyright. One person who, bless their heart, I appreciate it, whoever you are, I can't remember, but one person always say, this video has a copyright to it, but you have permission to use it.
Mm-hmm.
So why are you telling me then, dude?
Because YouTube will take it down if they play it.
No, that's after I play it. They'll say there was a copyright to this, but the guy gave you permission.
Right. The same thing with mine. The 10-second little intro of music, because it goes past 4 bars, and that's how much you can legally use with no permission. It just says copyright claim. It's not that the people have made a copyright on it because they have said it's free for use on YouTube.
That's right. So we'll just discuss the last video, considering I can't play it now because they just go, look, now you're just doing it on purpose and doing it bad. So the last video was women of hip hop. And what they was discussing was that women, I ain't gonna say fight back, but they was giving their own interpretation of their rap style. Because, and I agree with this, I wholeheartedly agree with this, that for a while, y'all guys' raps were very degrading. Like everybody
for a while.
It's still
It
going
still
around
is.
sometime, but Tracy, there was a moment where there were songs that was just flat out for the sole purpose of degrading women.
Oh, you mean Luke Skywalker?
The whole song. Uncle Luke, love you, love your music. Two Live Crew, love it, love your music. But
They're
dude,
my least
once you
favorite.
kind of grow up and listen to some of the lyrics, it was like, yeah, this is
nothing inspiring, nothing that says,
yeah,
hey,
nothing.
this had this one. Oh no, that was Nelly that swiped the credit card down the woman's rear end. Never mind. Wrong rapper.
Okay. So women started getting up and started taking more control. MC Light, Queen Latifah, The Brat,
Erykah
Badu.
She's not a rapper, is she? I mean, is she?
She's a singer and a rapper. She did a lot of New York battles.
Yeah,
I
but I
don't
don't.
remember Erica Badu rapping.
Yeah, I don't remember. Maybe I just
The
not
closest
listened
I
to.
got to somebody like that is Lauryn Hill.
Yeah, now I would say Lauren hit. Well, I don't even think
Lauren Hill, absolutely.
she was with the
Um,
Fugees or was she?
Maybe it's just I know more bootleg stuff. I guess.
Trust me, if you can
Yeah,
find me some music of Erica Badu,
rap. Yeah, please let
Uh-huh.
me know
I
because
would love to sit there and listen to it. Um, people like
Eve,
that, Eve, the Brat,
Mhm.
people like that.
Lil Kim.
Now we're gonna get into a secondary version of taking control because as much as it's still to take control, Little Kim and
Megan Thee Stallion.
in that same vein. And
Nicki Minaj. I'm trying to think of who you're thinking of.
no, Foxy Brown. You
Foxy
just said it.
Brown.
People like those rappers was taking their power back through sexual things. Like I'm controlling me. If you can't use me as a sexual object because you can't use me for anything. I have the power to do with my body what I want to do with my body, not you. So when they did this, you listen to some of the lyrics that they go, trust me, they was in control of it. Now, was it raunchy? Yeah, but they was in control of the raunchiness. It wasn't like, no, you in control and I'm just, no, you do what I tell you to do. So yeah, it's on the same class as Queen Latifah and MC Light and things like that when they're taking their control back, but there's a different version of, hey, you're not gonna Queen Latifah, MC Light, people like that. Hey, you're not gonna talk to me any type of way. You're not gonna call me out of your mouth any type of way. Unity pretty much said it. Who do you think you calling a B? It's in the rap song. So yeah, there's a difference. Foxy Brown and Little Kim, and yes, Meg Thee Stallion, and yes, Nicki Minaj is on the same vein. I am a sex. I like sex just like the regular person, but please understand that my sexuality is in my control, not yours. And you still not going to call me out of my name. So that was the last video. Let me see if we still on because
Yep.
okay, I'm still on. Gotta make sure that just because I described the video that okay. LOL, imagine if that history guy was holding a grudge over Tracy because of that one time he said something bad about him. So he wanted to strike the stream down in revenge. Yeah, he probably saw the video. He probably got around to it.
He should be glad somebody was playing it.
Yeah, and if we're keeping it real, there was a lot of homophobic type lyrics that was used in rap music from like the 2000s to 2005, but probably before that as well. It's crazy to look back at it. Oh, yeah.
Sure were.
Oh, yeah.
Very homophobic.
It was a lot of homophobic things. They had it in Wreck Yourself. Check yourself before you wreck yourself.
Yep.
When the guy goes in as Antoine and now he's just Twan. So yeah. Different social norms change over time. And that's the whole mentality of it. This too will change. God, please don't let it change back to mumble rap, but this too.
Yeah, we
will
just don't
change
leave the
again.
mumble rap.
Yeah, leave the bubble wrap alone, but
And the
it
gangster rap.
evolves as time goes on. And as time goes on, it'll get better or worse. We just have to see. So, sorry to everybody who we had that technical difficulty. So now I know we can't use them no more, which is kind of funny because I don't have any more that I was going to use for them anyway. That literally was the last video that I was going to use, but I don't want it to come off as Oh, now you just said you ain't gonna use it no more because it was. No, I honestly had nothing else from them that I wanted to use.
Yeah, I'm not gonna miss his long pausing.
LOL, I think the worst of the mumble rap period was 2017 to 2020. I don't even care what the time frame was. Just don't ever bring it
Don't
back.
do it. What are you saying?
I don't know, and I don't care. So that is our first hour down the tubes. Kind of scared for the second hour because I showed more videos. So who knows if they gonna get pissed off at me and take me off the air tubes? Because remember, they've never done it before. So in case that you're new here, this is our first hour where we stick to the subjects, we stick to what the title of the video is and everything else. We take a 3-minute break in which we reboot and refresh, which means go get you a drink of water or get your favorite beverage, go to the bathroom, go pet your dog. I don't care. Just take you a small little break before we go into the second hour. So the second hour will be somewhat more relaxed, and I keep saying relax, but when you know this show long enough, you realize that we could take the most mundane video and blow it up, because that's who we are. So the second hour will show you videos of Am I the A-Hole, Mafia Video of the Week, and Foxy's videos of the week. 3 minutes to reboot and refresh, and we will see you all on the other side. Stay tuned.
Lift every voice and sing till earth and heaven ring with the harmonies of liberty. Let our rejoicing rise high as the listening skies. Let it resound loud as the rolling sea. Sing a song full of the faith that the darkness has taught us. Sing a song full of the hope that the present has brought us. Facing the rising sun of a new day begun. Let us march on till victory is won. Stormy the road we trod, bitter the chase we run, felt in the days when hope unborn had died. Yet with a steady beat and on our weary feet, come to the place for which our parents sighed. We have come over a way that with tears has been watered. We have come treading a path through the blood of the Scion. Now from the gloomy past till now we stand at last.
are back for the second hour with Theus Robinson in the house. And with a collared shirt. Yes. Thank you.
I gotta say, all y'all look beautiful. You all look beautiful, 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 beautiful. Marlon, you look beautiful today, brother.
Thank you very much.
You look absolutely gorgeous. Look at you, just beaming and gorgeous and all over the place.
Maybe that's what it was. The history guy was jealous, so he
Yep, that's
copyrighted
what
it.
it was. He was
That's what it
jealous.
was. I think that's what it was.
Slow pausing.
Couldn't handle it.
Oh,
Couldn't handle it.
the slow talking dude.
Yeah.
There's a
Yeah,
problem with that.
So the
we
first
got
hour,
a copyright claim.
the
Yeah,
videos
but
that I was showing of his, that I've been showing for darn near 2 months now, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
For the last time, and I'm honest with you, that was it. That was the last video I was going to show because I didn't see any more that I wanted to show of his. Well, apparently I started showing his shows for the last one, and YouTube kicked me off.
That's the Black Panther random thought bubble talking dude.
Yep.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Because I saw a comment from Tracy that said, "Never delete this," and then I tried to click on it, and it says it's been deleted.
Oh no, I deleted that on purpose. I deleted mine on purpose.
That was one of your videos.
That was one of mine. I
So-
deleted it on purpose.
Which video was it?
It was like that one where I say this is a clip, please watch it. I'm like, no, that's where I would edit it into another video. So I'm like, nope, that's not the one you should have.
Oh, okay. Because I couldn't see why it was. I just saw that it was gone.
Yep.
Oh, wow. Well, before we even get started, which we already have started, let's go ahead and pay those bills. Do not forget that Radical Truth to Power is tomorrow at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Please do not forget to go to patreon.com/A Tracy Media. Help support Tracy and all of her causes. Please do not forget to go to patreon.com/Complex Mind and help support Theus and all his causes. Please do not forget to go to patreon.com/Radical Truth to Power, exactly the way it's spelled, capital R, capital T, capital T, capital P. Help support me and all of my causes. Please do not forget to go to AITAH Heart's website, BorelliEtc.com. Learn something that you didn't think you need to know, but you should. And as always, if you want to drop me a line, such as the Mafia videos of the week, you could do so at radtp@outlook.com. That's RADTP@outlook.com. Actually getting real dang good with this. So we've been like having a full-blown conversation with Foxy, and so wait a minute. Start right here. Parker, you are very diverse. I stopped listening to most rap and switched to more hip hop and pop. Imagine if the history guy had a whole segment on just mumble rap, but he discussed it in this serious type of
Oh, y'all coming down on mumble rap, and I admit it is not my chosen form of rap music.
Terrible.
But
It's terrible.
it's not our turn. It's not our turn. That's their music.
Okay.
I compare mumble rap to when Miami bass music came out.
I love Miami
Two
bass.
Live Crew,
True Live
69
Crew.
Boys,
I
95
could
South.
understand what they were
That
That
was
was
saying.
about 69 boys,
horrible
this and
music.
that.
That was horrible music.
It was
Horrible.
terrible, but I knew what they were saying. Mumble rap is. What are you saying?
I love old school R&B.
I'm just saying.
There's a lot of Richie and the Temptations. I ain't
Thank
going
you.
that far
Each
back.
generation gets their shot to do their music,
And they
and
eat
the people
Tide
who
Pods.
are one, no, usually about 2 generations out, can't stand it.
Oh, super love the flag, Anna. The same flag that's behind me.
She was probably saying thank you. But you
She was.
Oh, I thought she
Yeah,
was literally talking about Anna's
You
flag.
gotta
that's
have all the
behind her.
attention,
I'm like,
Marlon.
I know, I'm like,
wait a minute. Oh, things popped in. Yep. Finally gets all the shout outs nailed down.
Hello.
Yeah, and it only took me 3 years. Well, 2 years. I doubt that I did it the first year anyway, but still. Took me. Mafia video of the week. I'm playing this video. It's not my fault because it came from Tracy, and yes, it's stupid, but here we go.
Lex Luthor has Superman trapped. He's using kryptonite to destroy his powers.
Now you'll tell me why Superman peanut butter tastes so great. Never. So fresh roasted, so creamy, so yummy. Then its secret will be mine, all mine. Yay! Foiled again! Just wait, Superman. I'll find out.
Superman peanut butter. Its strength is its great taste.
This was a thing, yo.
Hey, I'm a little concerned. What he doing with all them little kids like that? Where their parents at?
Lex Luthor
You're
had
talking
him
about that.
covered.
I'm looking at why did you put Lex Luthor in like a castle jail? Where the hell are y'all at? This
That's
ain't
where he
America?
had Superman. That's where he had Superman.
He had
I'm talking about-
Superman in his corner.
Did you-
Go ahead, Thiz.
How did y'all check out? Did y'all check out how dexterous these children have to be? One, they came prepared with rope. Two, they had the ability to tie the rope perfectly. Three, they
Yeah.
were able in one shot
Lift
to
the
lasso
kryptonite.
a rock off a table, sling it into a box
Close
that
the box.
happened to be sitting right next to the table that happened to also be a lead box. Superman, them kids were in on it. They set you up, dog.
I want to know, one, Lex Luthor had Superman where he wanted, but you're going to ask him about his peanut butter. What? His peanut butter.
I mean, sometimes you gotta know, Tracy. I mean, Superman, you
butter?
do all these things, but how did you do this peanut butter?
And I love the kids just peeping in. Like, what, did they follow him? Do they not have, like, chores or life? They're just
I'm
out
telling
here.
you, the kids are in on it. The kids are in on it. They sold Superman out.
Well, no, they actually
And
freed
then-
Superman.
But that's all part of the trick. See, they set him up so that they could later free him. They're actually working with Lex Luthor. Because, you know, Lex is always multiple steps out. So now Lex got these kids in Superman's camp earning his trust. And then later, they'll actually destroy Superman.
But
because
Lex
they won't
Luthor
just
was
break
in the
him from his
jail.
powers.
You didn't see him in the jail? And Superman
He's in
was
the
eating that
jail.
peanut butter with him?
Look, Lex Luthor is always in and out of jail. He has a high recidivism rate. So that's why he knows he can't quite go against Superman directly every time because the law is on him. He got that felony on his record. So now every time he does something, the police are looking at him. So he needs all these kids. So he has to insert the kids
But
into
he was
Superman's
in the
grace.
jail. He was in the jail cell, like, doing this. Like doing
Did
this.
you hear this?
But he'll get out of jail soon.
Well, he'll
'Cause he's gonna do,
escape.
like,
I
good
mean, he always
behavior.
escapes.
Right,
What?
or he'll escape because he has like his sidekicks, right? But now he's got kids though. They're gonna set him up. They're gonna take him down
I
like
never
Michael
thought-
Jackson. That's what they're gonna do. Yep, they're gonna get him. Superman touched me. That's what's gonna happen right there.
I never would have went to the Superman touch me card, but hey, that's just me.
Well, I mean, technically he ain't got to. I mean, he can't look right through their clothes like he do it. Yeah, that's why he be chasing them women. You notice he always saves women. He don't save no men. He always saves women because he like to look through their clothes. See, Superman a freak. He
The
avoid
hell
it.
you been drinking tonight?
Yeah,
Where are we going with
freaky.
this? I'm
Freaky,
like,
freaky.
Yes, hey.
This video has several layers. Several.
There are a lot of layers. There are a lot
Y'all
of
just
layers.
don't want to admit it.
There's no layers. It's
Why
peanut
is there a
butter.
picnic table right outside the prison window?
How did they know
Who
that the
does
table
that?
was made out of lead? They just happened to put it there. They tied the knot exactly in the length that would go around the rope. Then they were strong enough to lift the stone and put it in the box perfectly, and then close
In
the
one
box.
shot.
They
in one
It's
shot.
like they practiced. It's like they went home and they said, if Superman gets captured for his peanut butter, let's tie this rope. And then let's just pretend left it in stone and put it in a box.
I'm telling you, they were in on it. They were in
I'm
on
gonna have
it.
to agree with you on that one, Tia. I didn't even think about it like that.
Are they the a-holes? I mean, am I the a-hole? That's what I meant to say. So, serious crime done. It is a victim involved in it. But is it still too young to punish? Story today is Young Stalker.
My little brother lives with me and my husband full time since both of our parents passed away in an accident last February. My brother is 17, I'm a 25-year-old woman, and my husband is 26. He's a great kid, but losing our parents made him a quiet, sad young boy. I've tried to encourage him to attend therapy so he can work on his grief, but he's refused every single time, telling me that he's not ready yet. I get it. Everyone works at their own pace, and as long as he's not deliberately hurting himself, I won't pressure him. I try to be as involved in his life as I can be without it being overwhelming. We both enjoy movie nights or binge watch shows on the weekends, and he also helps my husband with his old car. Before our parents passed away, my brother had a 16-year-old girlfriend, and she seemed like a good kid too, but after the funeral, my brother decided that being in a relationship wasn't what he needed at that time, and he broke up with her. It was totally valid. But she did not take this well, and she was sure that my brother only needed some love to heal. Last month, she began to drop letters and gifts to our door, and my brother refused to open them every single time. She used to message and call him too, and I could see the distress on my brother's face. The worst thing happened last Friday. It was my brother's birthday, and my husband and I decided to take him out. When we got back, my brother went to his room, and as soon as he did, he came running downstairs. His ex-girlfriend had broken into my house, decorated his room with photos of him with her, their friends, and our family, put up balloons, and was waiting for him with a cake. Mind you, this is super creepy, so while my husband entertained her, I called the cops and they took her for trespassing on private property. My brother is thankful, but my husband and the kids' parents think that I'm overreacting and I should drop the charges because she's trying to do something nice.
Oh, child, let me shut my mouth before I say something I'm not supposed to say.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Wait a minute. Y'all had so much to say about some daggone effing peanut butter that don't exist no more. This is a serious thing right now.
How do you know it don't exist no more? It could exist.
If you think I'm finna jump back onto that doggone idiotic storyline, you can forget it. No.
But I don't think this can't be real. This can't be real.
Surprisingly enough, yes, it can be real.
16, that's young.
Love knows no number.
It doesn't know how to be told no.
And that's, I think, where we're at.
My thing is, no one taught this young man how to properly break up with someone. That's one. Right? You know, if you don't properly break up with people, you can trigger certain behaviors that then you got to deal with downstream. It's still not your fault per se, because I believe you can break up with anybody for any reason. But there's a way that you break up with people, right? So obviously his method was, I ain't gonna do this no more, which was my approach when I graduated high school. I'll be honest. This is before I learned how to do it properly. Because when I graduated high school, I immediately broke up with the 2 girls I was dating and stopped talking to everybody I knew. And I was done. Like cold turkey, done. Because I was like, I'm heading off to school. So I'm going to get some new girls to chase when I go out to school. So there ain't no sense of pretending like this is going anywhere. And seen, right? But This young man was going through his grief. He didn't break up properly. Okay, cool. That's the flaw I would put on him. Um, but the girl obviously has some issues and hasn't been taught how to navigate her emotions and relationships. So she don't have no boundaries. So yeah, break in my house. The police coming to get you because the alternative is I have to deal with you. You don't want me having to deal with you. So my kindness is all right. Keep her calm. She's obviously not here to hurt nobody. I'm gonna call the police. And then hopefully she's got a good support system at home to help her get through with all the other stuff. But yeah, you broke in my house, girl. Now I have to say I don't know if I would press, and this is a sexism part, okay? I don't know that I would press charges. I can't honestly say that I wouldn't just be like her getting out the house, her having that realism moment with the police is enough. And if something else happens, then I'll amp it up again. But I would probably stop there with her. But if it was a boy that broke in my house, one, the police couldn't get there fast enough. And two, yeah, I'm pressing charge. Because that's just I'm sorry. I don't give the same grace.
My deal is this, and I'm gonna answer a couple of questions because Parker don't think it's real. No way she had that much time to set up balloons, pictures, and
Pictures,
everything
a
in someone's
cake.
room and just stand there waiting. We don't know how long they've been gone. We have not a clue. And you got to realize that we don't know what information she has, such as, oh, I'm out sitting outside his room and find out they're going to dinner and a show or something like that. She may know the time frame. Two, yeah, you have enough time to actually do a lot of this stuff, and you got it sitting in a box and ready to go. It ain't like she was going back and forth between
Ain't
his
like
house and her house and his house and her
ain't like
house.
she cooked the cake at the house.
Yeah, she had to come up. And three, and just standing there waiting, she broke into the house. What was the crazy part of her standing there waiting? If you crazy enough to break into the house, you're still crazy enough to stand there and wait for them to come back. Because in her mind, she's doing something very, very sweet. It's something very nice. In her mind, she don't see it as stalking. In her mind, she sees her doing all these things, and the guy is just gushing all over her. And how could I miss out on this wonderful look, all the things that you did to make my wonderful day and everything else? In other words, she do not think she did it absolutely nothing wrong.
And that's one of my problems with our criminal justice system, right? If you're dealing with a situation where obviously the person is not working in a straight line and no one's physically been hurt and there's no allegations of like physical violence being threatened, because those are two important stipulations here. But we look at a person like her that did something and we immediately apply the full strength of logic to what has just occurred. Obviously, this person was not using a traditional line of logic, right? So it should be skewed just a little bit because, and this is just my opinion, and I know, like I just said, that I have different rules for guys and girls. I do, sorry. Hey, I'm an old dinosaur. I got certain built-in biases. But even within that, we have to stop losing track of the fact that this person, whoever the violator is, short of them causing physical damage or mayhem, is still a person. So, what do we want for this young lady? She's 16 or thereabouts. What do we want for her? Do we want to punish her behavior and that should be enough to correct her future behavior? Do we want to provide necessary counseling and structure so that she can internally process what may be off and course correct? Or do we want to find out maybe she's a danger to herself and others, and she needs to be removed from the traditional system and given that level of care. Like, what do we want? And then, do what's next. But America is so obsessed with punish first. It's just sad.
Because you have to. I'm just gonna piggyback off of what you saying, Theas. Of what is it that you initially want? Do you want this? Are you so afraid and so scared and so busy? You gonna make sure that she never do this to your brother and society and everything else, or do you just want her to stop messing with your brother? It is two different punishments. It literally is two different punishments. Because what you can do is get the police to come and it's an embarrassment. Police coming to your house to arrest this girl. We don't know who's outside. We don't even know what time of day this is. And she's coming and getting arrested and getting pulled out. And regardless of it shouldn't and all this other stuff, it shouldn't happen and everything else, word's going to get out of what happened. The embarrassment is going to be on. So do you really need to press charges? I don't know. That's on you. I don't know what I would do at that time. I hope I never find out what I have to do at that time. But yeah, what is your dish? What do you want to happen? Do you want her to be punished for the rest of her life where she has a record, so now she can't go to college, or it's going to be very hard for her to go to college anytime soon?
And perhaps that's part of her consequence.
Yeah. Or do you just want her
what
to
she
leave
did
my
was
brother
serious.
alone? Just leave my brother alone. That's all I want you to do is leave my brother alone. It may be enough that, well, just like what Mickey said. So I'll get back to that later. She may have broken up with her just fine, but she refused to accept the no. And this may be enough. The police coming to pull you out of somebody's house that you don't broke into may be enough to go, oh, he really means he don't want to be with me no more. And that may be enough to carry her for the rest of her life. We don't know this person. That the next time somebody says no, okay, the last time I ignored somebody's boundaries, the police was called on me. So
I just don't know that people learn that way. It's my concern. It's like it's such a weird thing. I was watching a video earlier today, and personally, I think that the lady who was doing the discussion started off well and then went kind of way out there in left field for me. But basically, what they were getting at is you have the external controls, right? So reward and punishment, right? So reward the behavior you want, punish the behavior you don't want, and there you go. And then you have the intrinsic portion, which is don't do the reward and punishment system. Find out what it is for that person that is more self-actualizing or meaningful, and then encourage them through that path. Do not reward or punish any of the behavior. You're just helping them figure out what feeds them, and they will then develop from there. I think there's a lot of value to both of those things. I think when you're talking about raising children, or if you're trying to guide an individual, intrinsic is always better, because you need to be able to charge your own battery, I guess is what you say. Like in the sales world, we would say like you either can be someone who charges your own battery, or you have to have somebody constantly pouring fuel into you to keep you running, right? And if you always need something external to give you the reason to do the thing, then it's a broken system, right? Because it's relying on someone else to keep you in the right path. This young lady here, though, it's different for me, or it's complicated for me, because she's a girl. I err on, well, let's figure out what she needs, right? And I wonder why. I still feel that way about boys. I'm just a little slower to get there with boys, and that's probably because our propensity to do damage when we act out. But at the same time, though, it's like she needs more than a hug.
Oh
You
no,
know,
we don't
she
pass.
violated
We don't
space.
pass the
She
hood.
broke into someone's place.
I'm gonna get back to Parker, who's a freaking unicorn, because somebody who is smart as he is and just as crazy as we are. The problem with all of these stories, too much information isn't known. The girl may have just been unable to take a no, or she could be a psycho, and that's true. It's not enough information, and the funny thing about it is we have to balance the show. They have to balance the story, because then we'll go, nah, this ain't real, because why would you go through all them great details and everything else? When in reality, yeah, because if you give just enough information to get the point across, just enough information to get to the issue, just enough information to figure out if you are the a-hole or not, just enough information to see if somebody else is the a-hole or not, you come to the realization it's not really a lot of information. But do we want to sit here and listen to a 2-3 minute story, or do we want to sit there and really get to the nitty gritty of the story and sit here for 6 or 7 minutes? Every freaking single detail. How did she get in the house? How did she know they was leaving? What was the color of the balloon?
Moral of
What
the
was the color of the
story.
cake?
Moral of the story. You don't need to really be dating nobody when you're in high school anyway. But that's just my opinion.
What?
His reason. I have a reason for it. I have a reason for it. I have a reason for it. So
Okay.
when you're in high school, you have no real concept of time, consequence, or relationship.
And where will you
You simply
learn
do
this?
not.
And where will you learn this?
I guess I hear your point, and that's one of the counters to what I'm saying. But there's a lot of the self-destructive behavior that happens because you do not have the toolkit, right? So personally, I would rather you wait until you finish high school to start dating and doing all those things. It's only a matter of 2 to 3 years difference here, okay? Um, and also because part of dating, especially nowadays, part of dating is sex. Well, if you are engaging in sex early and you're not getting like personal guidance and understanding and support systems, all the stuff we say should happen, but we know does not happen. Okay. So now you got teenage pregnancies, you got, even if no one gets pregnant, you got the social disaster that goes on, right? Because to me, sex is like a drug. Once you start having sex, you get addicted to it. It's a certain, because it releases endorphins or whatever the right serotonin, whatever the right chemical thingy is, but you get attached to it, right? And you just keep chasing behind it. It distracts you from the other things that you need to be focusing on, right? And you don't have the ability to deal with the consequences regardless. You can't deal with the consequences of now you had sex with one girl or one boy, and now you're a social media viral moment for your school, and all of the pressure and humiliation and fake stories and exaggerations and lies, all that stuff, you're not equipped for that at 15 and 16. You're not, right? But it's coming for you. We see it every day. Right now, girls, teenage girls, are the highest moving indicator of suicide and self-harm in our nation. That comes behind social media. That comes behind our boys not being taught how to respect girls. So this all playing with each other and messing up people's mentalities. That's why I said that I don't think it's a good thing to do to start dating when you're that young, just because you're not equipped for the stuff that comes with it. You're just not. But that ain't gonna change nothing. People gonna do what they're gonna do.
Oh yeah. Because I think high school is the best part about it. I would go back to say junior high maybe not be the good enough time, but again, you're going to do what you're going to do in a way, because that's 12, 13, 14. Come on. You got hormones floating. The last thing you worried about is learning the social etiquette, learning how to treat each other with kindness, fairness, understanding, and everything else. High school, yeah. I need you to learn this stuff before you become a grown ass person going to college where you don't have any guidance above authority. Because your parents ain't there no more. I mean, in the majority of the thing, your parents ain't there no more to sit there and go, "You're an idiot. Stop that." They ain't there no more.
Well, I agree, and that's why there's not a perfect way, I guess, to approach this thing, because what's broken is our societal system. What's broken is our communal attitude. What's broken is our ties as adults in playing our role towards our children. That's what's broken. Kids are going to be kids. They're the same every single generation because it's just animal behavior, animal reaction. That's what we do, right? But it's the adults who have been down the path who have traditionally been responsible for helping to guide, right? The big brother, big sister, the uncle, the aunt, like everybody has a role that's played traditionally. And now a lot of those systems are broken down. So you don't have that at play anymore. So it's just kids guiding kids. And then you add social media on top of it, where everybody is just an exaggerated version of their real selves. So you still aren't getting the truth there. It's such a scary thing when I look at, I mean, as you guys know, just buried my niece. She was 15 years old, committed suicide. I mean, 15, right? So this stuff is real. These kids are dealing with things that it's the same pressures we dealt with, but it's a whole new form of how it's coming to them. And we can say, well, turn off the social media, but that's not a realistic answer. Telling kids just turn off the social media is as effective as telling kids to just abstain from sex. It's as effective as just say no drug campaign. It's bury your head in the sand and pretend that a logical, simple solution is all we need. And it's not. And we're losing children. We're losing girls to suicide, and we're losing boys to prison. So and drug use. A lot of the boys, even if they don't go to jail, they end up hooked on something. So it's such a worried about them, man.
Well, what did I say at the beginning of this show? As much as we can take the most, and I'm not degrading what you're saying, Thea. I agree with everything that you're saying.
I got serious
But at the beginning of the show, I was saying we could take the most mundane topic and bring it to truth. Our minds just work that way. That's why we're on our third season of the show. Parker, and this we'll move on. Parker has been watching this show way too much. I'm gonna need Parker to take a break. The only thing that would be worse is if she would have stood there in the room waiting, but then she took individual bites out of each piece of the cake before presenting it to him when he would get home. See, Parker, you've been watching this show way too much. Foxy's videos of the week. I don't even know why, of all the stories we read, that still is the story that pisses me off the most.
That was petty.
Which one?
The lady that ate the bites of cake. Didn't eat the whole thing. Didn't eat a slice. She just took bites of the individual pieces.
Yeah, she was a special case of special.
I'm not supposed to use the word beaver, but dude, you was dating a
What's wrong with the word beaver?
Anna has this thing about the word beaver, and I understand why she has a problem with the word beaver, but yes, you.
Yeah, you kind of.
Yes, you.
All I did was tell you that word means something just a little different.
But he was talking about the animal, and your brain was somewhere else.
You was dating Alvin and the Chipmunks, dude.
But a chipmunk and a beaver are two different animals.
Shit must just sound. Me would just sound more funny. The first story is a little serious, and then we'll work our way down to the less serious. But if anybody's confused about the story, because I heard this story before. Honestly, I don't even think it's true. It was told to me even when I was in I think they told me when I was in the military, so it was a pretty old story. But I got the concept of it. So if anybody's confused about it, I'll explain it at the end. Once again, no, I don't think you don't know what I'm not that stupid. Just because you know don't mean everybody who's watched this show knows what the concept of, okay? So I'll explain it if you don't understand. Here we go.
Please watch this entire video, and while you're doing so, think about the last 3 years on planet Earth.
I'm not 100% sure why I'm being asked to share this story, but I'm guessing it's because somebody needs to hear it. When I was 16, I went into what I thought was going to be a normal day at biology class. And when I walked in, all the desks were arranged in a circle in the middle of the room. And the instructor, who had always been a really amazing, loving, kind instructor, was super militant, super scary, and just looked at us and said, "Sit down, shut up. You are not allowed to move, to speak at all, and anyone who does will immediately fail my class." And we were all stunned. I get like, just thinking about it, because I was a straight A student and grades were really important to me, and I was just like terrified. So we're all sitting there silently, nervous out of our minds. And in the middle of this circle that we were all sitting in, there was one desk. And on this desk was a bowl with a goldfish in it. And he looked at us and he took the goldfish and he put it on the desk and he walked out and he shut the door. And we all just looked at each other, just like, what do we do? You know, like, obviously it violated like everything inside of me to like watch this fish die. And also I heard the instruction: if you speak, if you get up, if you move, you will automatically fail the class. And so we all sat there looking to each other to do something because we didn't want it to be us. And what was a very painful, it felt like an eternity. It was probably like 2.5 minutes later. Hannah B, got up and said, "Fuck this," and took the goldfish and put it back in the bowl. And when she did that, he came out and he looked at all of us and he said, "Look what the world has done to you. You've betrayed yourself. For what?" And I think about that lesson all the time, because I learned in that moment that I am never going to be that person ever again.
How many people around this planet went along with every single lie because they were told to sit down and shut up? Or even worse, they threw away friends and family just so they could go and get a cheeseburger. This teacher was predicting the future.
So I'm gonna make this real short.
Balls.
I'm just gonna make this short. The point of the story is you was given instructions that was completely opposite of your nature. So your nature is, how can I put this? You see something that's detrimentally hurt, but you understand that somebody with authority told you don't get involved in it. And because you was given instructions to not to get involved in it, the detriment that you were watching happened. And you did nothing about it. So how many times have we seen that over the years? How many times have we seen that during protests? How many times have we seen that during COVID? How many times have we seen people who idly sit by and go, "I'm not that person. I didn't do nothing wrong." But then you sit there and witness the wrongdoing being done and did nothing about it. But have no problem going on social media and sit there and chastise anybody that says something that they ain't supposed to say or do something they ain't supposed to do. You'll voice your opinion behind the curtain because it's safer that way. You have no problem with that. It may not be your nature. You may just be an a-hole. I don't know. Or you may be a caring person, but you realize that sticking your nose into somebody else's business could somehow jeopardize something personal for you. So you don't do anything because you was instructed not to do anything. You was told at an early age not to get involved, even when you know it's wrong, even though you know it's unfair, even though you know it's unjust. So yeah, that whole story of, oh my God, I'm sitting here watching a freaking goldfish die on the table, but if I save it, it's gonna have a problem for me. But I'm sitting here watching a goldfish die on the table. Now you have to balance the two.
I'll take that. No problem.
Yeah.
But can you really teach the lessons that they're going for with a goldfish?
Well, first of all, let's get one thing perfectly straight, and I got the concept of it. Like I said, the story is old as crap, and now I do remember it was told to me in the military, and the point of it was, yeah, you don't have to listen to authority. You people who outrank you, when you know what their orders is flat out wrong. That's that. So they was putting that into like. I don't care if they outrank you, and I don't care if they make it a direct order. If you know in your heart of hearts, soul of souls, that even the policies that's written says what they're saying is wrong, no, you don't have to do it. That was the point of that story. So it's an old story. Number two, lady.
Thank you. I'm never gonna be that person again, girl.
Tell me the story of the woman.
Go to acting class. They got them. They got them in every city in the United States.
Come on, because the story, the teaching fits itself. We did not need all that dramatic. And I will never, as far I was ready for the music to start playing in the background. And for that day on, I promise I will never, ever do something like that again.
Y'all hard. Ooh,
Them tears were pathetically. That's why I'm like, she was like, I'm like, girl, you doing too much. Too much.
One step away from
she could have just told the story. She could have just said, moral of the story is, but the crying, I'm like, she done just took it too far.
I'm sorry.
So it is an age-old story, right? It's adapted for the time and for the audience. During the Holocaust, they spoke of it in their own version through Schindler's List. When they were talking about when they came for this and they came for this and they came for this, right? It's a similar thing. And the military is trying to teach you that, yes, you respect the chain of command, but you are not required to follow an unjust order, right? So that's where, they have that message coming through, right? So I get it, and that's all well and good. Where she kind of lost me was when she decided to add in this little tidbit where I was a straight A student. No, you weren't, because see, a straight A student wouldn't grow up to do their hair and dress like that. So that's not that was an unnecessary. It was an unnecessary detail. You were an AB student at best. Okay, so let's stop it. Stop it.
Well, she threw.
But
Well, okay, I know why she threw in the A student thing.
Because she was setting up like I always do what I'm told.
Yeah,
I get good grades. If I did this, I would get an F. Blah blah blah
yeah,
blah blah.
my grades are so important. So now it really add extra
right,
weight on
shows
me.
why.
Yeah,
I get it.
so
I get it. I'm just saying she ain't
I'm
had to do
not saying
that.
that she didn't
But
lie. I don't understand what her makeup and hair had to
Yeah,
do
that
with
was
that. But okay.
I'm just saying. That's cool. I'm just saying. No, a little much. A little much. Um,
I'm sorry, your
yeah.
eyebrow wasn't matching at the sides, but neither
But
here
the
nor
funny
there.
thing about it though is, and here's why I give people a little bit of grace, um, because human nature, or at least, okay, so I'm sort of centrist on American upbringing and socialization. You're asking a lot, and I ask a lot of people, right? That's why I do complex mind, simple man the way I do. I know that that is contrary to our traditional behavior. Our traditional behavior is not give money to someone who doesn't have a 401k. I mean, I'm sorry, a nonprofit 401c3.
501c3.
That there you. Thank you, Tracy. Right? It's not. That's just not natural to how we do things. It's You would think that when you're going in to vote, we do a lot of talking about voting. And, you would think that people would look at, well, what is good and decent and what follows my moral belief system. And that's how I'm going to make my decisions. But it's not. We go in and we say, we put our feelings into, well, I shouldn't have to make this particular decision. Or we make like comic book supervillain hero diagnoses of this person's evil and this person's good. Like, people have been socialized not to really be able to overcome the inertia that it would take for that person to say, no, I'm putting the goldfish back in the bowl immediately. Like, teacher ain't even gonna get out the classroom good before back in the bowl, right? So we're looking at this and we're saying, well, no, if that happened, I would definitely, I would definitely go and be the one to put the fish back in the bowl.
No, you wouldn't.
And I don't think that you would.
No.
I don't know. I believe that I would, but I'm not 100% certain, right? Because what we naturally do is we look around and ain't nobody coming with you, right? I mean, I'm a church. When you at church, for those of you who grew up Baptist or know the Baptist church structure, when they open the doors of the church, those first 2 minutes, the most awkward time the whole service, right? Because don't nobody want to be first.
The first to leave. Yep.
Right? Now we know that if the first person will just come down the aisle to the altar, you will have like another 3 to 5 behind you. But somebody has to go first. And we're trained not to want to be that person. So I don't know. I would love to say that people would do the right thing, but I have too many examples around us every day that shows that's just not how we do.
Well, we don't even do
with
that.
the crime.
Yeah, we don't do that. We don't even do that as adults. I mean, I'm not even gonna go back into my spiel. We don't do that as adults. So you can miss me trying to say that you're gonna do it as a high school student. You just stop that. I've held many conversations with parents now that I've known for years, and they know that I'm joking, but deep down I'm really not. I can't believe she did this. I never would have did that when I was little. And I used to look at them like, fuck, I grew up with you. Yes, you did. You literally did exactly that. It's just now coming back around to you. That now you see it from another side. But you did do it. Was there when you did it. And your parents
But hell, I did it with you.
I did it with you. I was there. Yes. So there are certain things when you sit there and go, I would never have done. It's equivalent of I would have. Not really. And yeah, I mean, and I'm going with what Thea said. I was an AB student, actually just add to the levels of, you know, this is really important to me. But yeah, how important was school to you? Was you that person who never got in trouble in school? Ever? There were people who was like that, ever. The authority was strong in you. You did the homework when the homework was given to you. You went to classroom. You sat down. You kept your mouth shut. You kept your head down. You didn't move. You didn't budge. You did what everybody said. Everybody did. You came in on time. You left on time, and you did everything right. But you would have put the goldfish back. Right.
And then what if you were raised as a fisherman or raised as a hunter?
Here we go.
You see that little thing flopping around the desk, you'd be like, man.
That's right.
Man.
But and the funny thing about it, you don't even have to be that Theus. Let's just make
Dinner
it
tonight.
Let's make it the most shallow thing there possibly is. Because you gotta remember, we're talking about kids back in the day, kids now. It's a goldfish. It's just a goldfish. It's so what?
Watching something die in front of you can be very, very traumatic. It doesn't matter what it is.
And some people look at it, but I'm saying we're looking at it shallow, most important thing. Because for some people, death is death, regardless of what it is. Some people actually put a label on it though. It's a goldfish.
No, I definitely agree. Cruelty is the point, right? It's what it's coming down. It's a cruelty. It's not that the fish is dying. It's the cruelty of how this thing is happening, right? But what I would love to say or see, and I am committed to doing in my own way, is trying to work with young people to reinforce what was taught to me. And what I was taught as a child, and I did it as a kid. So yes, I was a rule follower, rule breaker, right? I do everything with a conscious mind. So and this is even when I was a kid, y'all. So I broke the rules that I chose to break. Like I made a conscious decision that, okay, the risk analysis for this right here is worth me doing that there, and I'll deal with that. But I never just randomly broke rules. Like, no. If I was supposed to be somewhere, I was there. If I was supposed to behave a certain way, I behaved, right? But if I was going to intentionally break a rule, I knew I was intentionally doing it. And if I got caught, and I'm this way even to this day, I own it immediately. It's not even, I'm not going to sit here and create new lies to cover for something that I'd already decided, win or lose, I'm doing this thing, right? Yep. And I think that that's an important lesson that young people need to be taught, that you're not always going to get it right. You're not always going to make the best decision. I tell my girls, you will definitely disappoint me at some point. At some point, you are almost definitely going to break my heart with something that you chose to do that was just dumb or not well thought out. It's going to happen. Your job is to try not to do those things, but don't ever set yourself up to think you're incapable of it, right? Mm-hmm. So young people need to be given their structure and their parameters, but then also they need to be equipped with critical thinking skills so that they can decide which risks are worth taking. What we run into a lot right now are young people just doing stuff. Sorry, Tracy, go ahead.
And I decided from that point on, I would never, ever be that person. Girl, shut up. Oh my gosh.
Hey, what's that commercial? There's a commercial like that where there's the black lady and it's just like random. All of a sudden she's doing the award speech. And I just want to say
Oh, that's a
everybody.
detergent. I think that's a detergent commercial.
Okay. Like, it's so random.
I to piggyback off of this real quick,
And not what I
and
said.
then we're gonna move on. Kids are gonna make mistakes. You made mistakes. That's why I held these conversations with parents all the time. With stop acting like you was just the most world perfect child. You wasn't. Heck, I was with you when you were making your worst mistakes ever. I made a deal with myself on certain things about it. I will never fuss at you for making a mistake. However, I will fuss at you if I figure that your mistake is either detrimental to your future or dangerous to your life or somebody else. Then you're going to hear my mouth. Because I've always said this, I lived through this mantra all my life. It only takes one moment, one blinking moment to change the rest of your life. There are some mistakes that are just that. You get over, you it's a mistake, you figure it out, you don't do it no more. But there are some mistakes you never, ever come back from. Ever. So yeah, you're going to hear my mouth. And my mom taught me this. What would you rather do? Hear my mouth for a few minutes? A few hours? Or live with this mistake for the rest of your life? I mean, you think about it
I'm
for
with
a
you, dog.
while. I'll sit here and listen to y'all freaking day. 24 hours? Cool. Because I got the 30s, my 40s, and my 50s, and my 60s to go through. All I got to do is give up 24 hours. I'm good.
Yeah. And I do that with my kids. Like, because, you know, with kids, they don't like, or at least my kids really don't like being in trouble. Some kids are headstrong and they don't care about getting in trouble. But my kids,
My
they
kids,
I
really
hated
don't.
being in trouble. No,
my
no,
kids
no, no.
hate
Yeah, my
their ass
kids
being in trouble.
hate being in trouble.
Boy, I
But
must have been a rug rat because I just didn't
but
care.
I made certain promises to my kids. One, I don't care where you are, what you did, how you got to be in whatever situation you are in. I will always come for you. It
Yes.
does not matter.
Yep.
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 I will always come. I don't care where you are. I will come for you. Also, if you do something wrong, you will hear from me.
Yes.
There's no
Yep.
exception here,
No.
right? But if you are honest with me, like, don't ever lie to me. If you're honest with me, the worst you'll probably get is a lecture.
Yeah.
Because I'd rather talk to my children.
Mm-hmm.
But if you lie to me, I will burn your whole world down.
Yeah.
I come down on my kids for small lies. Small. Like, if I say, what are you watching? Because I know what channel, I can hear what channel you're on.
Mm-hmm.
And then you say something, something. And then when I walk in the room, you're on this new channel now. I know you lied. And I'm going to come down on you like you just lied about a body in the basement. Right? Because I'm reinforcing to you, you don't lie to me. Right? But I think one of the mistakes I know I've made growing up is I take for granted that how I was taught. And that's not how everyone is taught. Right? Like, I grew up in a house where everybody says I love you, where you talk through your issues, where as long as you didn't lie, you'll get your punishment, but it'll always be the lighter side of the punishment versus the heavier side of the punishment. Right? It was consistent. You know, speaking for myself, there was never a day in my life that I wondered if my dad would be there when I came home. And my dad is a soldier. but I knew in my heart that he would always be right there, right? So I grew up in that kind of a world. But a lot of people are not growing up like that. Or they grow up in a state of survival. See, if you grow up in a state of survival and you come up against somebody who grew up in a state of love, I'm not saying there's no love in the survival. I'm saying there's different lessons being taught.
Yeah.
Right? You can't put that on the same scale. In short, what I'll say is my best friend. I remember I was young, early 20s, kind of early in my divorce, and we were roommates. He grew up on the same side of town as like my ex-wife. So me and my ex-wife we're different. She grew up in a very loving household and whatnot, but she grew up hood, and I grew up suburban, right? So not on the same. But like he told me, he's like, dude, you gotta understand something. Where you come from, there's a line, and you might walk up to that line, but you're gonna do a whole lot of thinking before you'll cross over that line. Mm-hmm. Where I come from, I see that line, and I'm looking for every break, every bend, every ripple in that line, because if I only stand at that line looking for what else I can do, I might not make it. And it's important for us to do that extra calculation within ourselves to understand that everybody you come up across, they ain't come up the same way you did.
Yeah, that the whole concept of people, there's a very thin line of common sense, and everybody thinks it's wide open. It's wide open. You got to have common sense. No. What your common sense is not my common sense. What I think is the right thing to do, you may not think is the right thing to do. Because we grew up on two different ways of doing stuff. If I never grew up in the woods and I see the woods and I just feel like, hey, I'm going to walk through the woods, compared to somebody else that's going, I'm finna go take a walk through the woods, let me get my emergency kit together, let me get my weapon just in case something happens, let me make sure that my cell phone is charged up in case I got to make a call, and things like that. And something happens to you because you was urban, you never seen the woods before, thus you never knew what to go through. Talk to somebody who done this all their life, and they're gonna look at you and go, that's common sense. That's not common, because my common is not your common. Reverse it. Dude, I'm telling you right now, it's 2 o'clock in the morning. I do not suggest that you go walk to the store. Well, I walk through the woods at 2, 3 o'clock in the morning all the time. This ain't the woods. This is the hood. I suggest
don't
you
go
do
to that
not
gas station.
walk through here.
Don't go to that gas station. Don't go to that ATM. You don't go to those.
And for us, that's common sense. What was the whole thing? If you didn't grow up in this neighborhood, or you don't know anybody in this neighborhood, you don't go to that neighborhood.
Nope.
Well, after dark, we gave you that much. When the sun goes down, you need to leave. Now you go ahead and knock yourself out with, my freedom and my rights and everything else, and you can't tell me what to do all you want to. Cool. You have all your freedoms and all your rights. You also have life insurance.
I have a less dramatic example. Mm-hmm. And this no, because what Marlon says is 100%, right? But for example, and this y'all probably gonna pick on me for this. So Anna, you live in a beautiful tapestry of countryside, right?
I do.
It is gorgeous. For me, it's gorgeous looking through a screen. Mm-hmm. It would scare me shitless to be out there for real, because I don't know the sounds to listen for. Mm-hmm. I don't know if all of a sudden, I mean, I kind of know, but I've never experienced, where if all of a sudden all the birds and the bugs go quiet, there's a problem,
You get the
right?
fuck out. Yes.
Right? I don't, but see, I ain't gonna react to it right. You see
Very
what I'm saying?
You may not even hear that. Yeah, yeah, I get it.
You know, so it's like it's to me it's humorous, but it's real. You know, but at the same time, we could be going down through downtown Atlanta, and I know the difference between someone saying, "Hey, baby, hey, baby, I like them shoes, man," or "Hey, fam, I like them shoes, man."
Yeah, there's a different
There's a
tone.
difference,
There's a different tone.
and I
One
know
is
immediately
one
which
is
way to react
cool.
to.
I'm cool. I appreciate it. The other one is cool, but you're gonna have to start walking a tad bit faster than when you started.
Or it's already too late.
Well,
It's-
yeah. I
this
know
is
this
not a
is
request anymore.
yeah. I know this is messed up, but do y'all think the kids would have been more likely to jump up if the teacher had a tub of water and dropped a little hamster or something? Would the kids jump to stop them from drowning? That was the question I was having when I was saying about it's just a goldfish. It's just a goldfish. What is your level of importance?
But isn't that the problem?
Yes,
That's the problem.
Yeah, that's the problem.
Different people have a different hamster, right? If a white girl, a blonde, no, be very specific. If a slim, blonde hair white girl goes missing, they will search the whole freaking country
Put YouTube
to find her
for the next week and a half. Keep it
right?
going.
They'll search the whole country. They will find her. Okay? Hopefully. But they will do their damnedest to do it. Right?
Or they will find a body.
Yeah.
They'll
Be
keep going.
overweight Latina that looks like you straight up from across the border. Let's see how hard they go looking for you. Be a black girl from Chicago. I don't give a damn how you look. Let's see how hard they come looking for you.
The most you're gonna get for a black girl being lost, being gone missing is a bunch of Facebook posts, and that's usually from the family, and that's usually from people that's reposted. But you're not gonna get a YouTube 10 days of broadcasting and promises and the reports from the police, and even after they found or there is foul play, now we got another 10 days of discussion, of analyzing of what happened, that could have happened, what happened, and everything else. Yeah.
The point I'm making though is that different levels of sensitivity, right? I mean, how many times do we see young black men or black men period literally murdered on TV and shown on rerun and repeat on every news channel? Like it's just whatever.
It's a commercial,
right?
Yeah.
But we've never seen it. I've never seen it that they kill a little white girl, right? Because police don't just kill black people. I need people to understand this. Police don't just kill black people. It's just that we're goldfish. It's socially acceptable to watch us die. They can't let you see the family dog die, right? They're not going to let you see Amy get killed on TV. Not going to do it. Okay? Different level of sensitivity. So it's like that example that they were using, it has so many layers to it, But it really comes down to what's your goldfish.
Because what would you do if your kids give you a piece of gum and say it's strawberry with its really mint flavor? How big of a lie would it have to be? You said you gave it to Thea, so
if they
so context matters.
Yes. Parker, you
If
need a
we in
little
our
bit more
silly,
than that.
yeah, if we in our silly mode, because me and my kids, we are silly as hell together. But there's always some intellectual weirdness underlying all of it. So if we're in our silly mode and you slip me some mint gum and I'm expecting strawberry, I just you got me. You got me. I was dumb. Right? But if like we're at a funeral and I like, hey, give me a piece of mint gum and you give me some bazooka joke.
It is a piece of gum, though.
That
We
is not
might have a
mint.
problem.
Mint.
we might have a
No, he
problem.
said a piece of gum, and he's expecting
No,
mint.
he said
He
mint.
said
So if
mint.
I said mint,
I must
Mint.
and
didn't
you
get
give
the
me
mint
some
part.
bazooka Joe or that zebra stripe nastiness, right?
Ooh.
Now I know you're trying to be funny, and this wasn't
They
the
still
time
make
to be
that?
funny. I don't know.
Because I think I would fuss at my kids for getting that crap. Did you spend your money
Wow,
on that
Marlon.
crap? No, I'm sorry, but that was disgusting crap. I literally think I would put them on punishment for just getting that stuff. You are making very detrimental decisions in your life, and I don't think you need to be out in public.
You have embarrassed the family.
You have embarrassed the family. You have embarrassed the Black community. You have
The
embarrassed the
black
nation.
community? Oh
I
my
think you
God.
embarrassed us all.
It's
You have
just
embarrassed us all.
gum. Let it go.
You just set us back 30 years.
You have set, boy. You hey, you.
Let's go back to the peanut butter video, shall we?
Don't tell nobody what your name is or what house you live in. We're gonna move on to the next
Guess
video.
that's just how you was raised.
Yeah, that's disgusting. A small mint flavor at the beginning and you chewing wax for the rest of the time. You have made some very bad life decisions, and I know I've taught you better. I know I've
Maybe
taught
they
you
like
better.
wax.
I know I have raised you better than this.
But at least it's not mayonnaise. So I mean we can work
And we're going to move on to the next video, in which we will now look at. Okay, we already on this show already discussed it. We talk every day. We already knew the whole BS about Trump being arrested and everything else. What was going to go on Twitter and everything else. I even remember telling somebody that the only person who actually said they was going to be arrested on Tuesday was Trump. So what is it that we really want to see? What is it that we really actually want to see from Trump being arrested?
So am I happy with the prospect of Donald Trump being arrested next week? Yes. But let me tell you what would really make me happy. So Donald Trump turns himself in New York. He is arrested. He's booked. He's arraigned. He bails out. Before he leaves the building, the district attorney for the state of Georgia is there waiting for him. They arrest him. They take him to Georgia. They book him. They arraign him, and he bails out. And then before he gets out of that building, there's Merrick Garland and Jack Smith who are waiting to arrest him, put him on a plane, take him to D.C., book him, and arraign him. I'd really like it to be a nice, long, fulfilling day for us. A girl can dream.
Actually happen, but you can always dream. If you wish upon a star, makes no difference who you are.
But you got to admit,
I have to admit, though,
that would be the perfect day for me. Every time this dude walks out the door, he's getting arrested again. I'm sorry. I know ain't nothing gonna happen. I get everything up, blah blah blah. Marlon, ain't nothing gonna happen. Well, don't be happy. You know what I get all that. But holy crap, if you don't think I would be on the freaking floor seeing that every time this dude walks out the door, somebody else is arresting him, would be freaking hilarious to me.
Georgia has the best shot. That's all I'll say. Georgia has the best shot. He's not going to get charged by Merrick Garland. I think people need to just let that
Yeah, I'm
pipe
gonna
dream
move on
just.
from that one. Baller, you will put you on punishment just for buying that stuff. Yeah, yeah. You made very bad life decisions. Yeah. Final video of the night.
So nobody else is coming. Okay.
No, they didn't say anything. Can't make nobody
You
say.
didn't give Tracy a chance to say anything.
Okay, Tracy, what would you
I
like
did
to
say something. I asked, was y'all gonna say something? Because y'all usually say something.
I got nothing.
That was it. That would just make my day. That every time he walks out the
There
freaking door,
are
he's getting
some
arrested by
memes.
somebody else.
If you watch the Rational National, they just did a whole story about these fake memes that somebody created of Trump getting arrested and running away. Hilarious. And it actually fooled people to think it. They did such a good job that people actually thought that it was Trump. But I'm like, he's not that stealth and he can't run nowhere. But it was fun to see though.
How far was this dude? Trump at this point in time can run. I will treat this whole situation like a Friday the 13th with the teenager running through the woods. And I'm Jason. I'm going to walk. Why? Dude, you're not going anywhere.
You can't run. You're out of
You
shape.
can't run.
But it was hilarious though. Just watch it. I don't normally recommend other podcasts besides us, but that's good.
I want to see cops tackle Trump, taser while he's on the ground, beat the shit, bloody slap. Oh, jeez. I can't read the
Y'all
rest.
saw that that woman who that they got.
I'm sorry, I don't. I apologize, but I don't want all of that. I don't.
But some of us do.
I get
understand.
I don't understand what people really want. That's where I get lost. That's why I don't even
a
much
mug
care.
shot. That's all I want.
But
Shot.
What does that give you?
I get exactly what everybody really
It just
wants,
made me
but
happy
you
on the
balance
inside.
what everybody really want and what the reality is depressing. Everybody pretty much have told you what they really want. They want Trump to go to freaking jail. They want it to happen. The reality of it happen is freaking slim to none. So balancing what you want and what's reality is pretty freaking hard. Nobody is saying.
No, I'm not even.
I don't think anybody just said, I just want him arrested. No. I want Trump to go to freaking jail. I also know it ain't going to happen.
Yeah, we also know it's not going to happen. But it would sure make me feel like, oh, we really do start. Well, we really don't.
But I see what Theus is saying because the narrative has changed. It just really did pop in my head. So now we've pretty much established it's not going to happen. So now Theus's question is, when you say, what do you really want, is really the question of, what are you willing to settle for?
I mean, to me, it's like reality has not changed here. So it's frustrating yet predictable that we constantly get ourselves into what if I won the lottery discussions, right? It's like you spin yourself up on something you know isn't a reality, right? Donald Trump says, I'm getting arrested on a Tuesday. Everybody knows that the Justice Department would never announce when they're going to go get Donald Trump.
No, they're not.
Everybody should know that Donald Trump has Secret Service protection.
Yep.
And he's a former president.
Yep.
So to get Donald Trump, there would be a negotiation and a process worked out secretly between the Secret Service and the FBI, and he probably would get processed at home. If he got processed downtown, you wouldn't even know. He'd just show up, they do their thing, and he'd be out. Only way you find out is if TMZ found out something, right? So it's like we know all of this stuff is just not real. We know that Donald Trump made something up. We know Donald Trump makes stuff all the time. He's the little boy who cries wolf. So why do we always go chase the wolf? It's just asinine to me. It's really because we want the show. We want something to move. And then the media, predictably, plays with us because they want to be able to get the advertising dollars. So for 4 days, we're on Trump indictment watch. When the reality is the only one who said there was an indictment was Trump.
You don't even have to go to 4 days. That day, it was a effing countdown freaking clock.
No, but I'm saying,
just like
they kept it going.
It was like
for 4 days, right? Because go ahead, Trace.
No, I was just gonna say everything you're saying is so correct. We have people in East Palestine, Ohio, that their douchebag governor still has not declared a statewide emergency. They're still suffering, but you're gonna not even cover that. Let's not cover that. Let's go to outside the jail and see this. What are you serious? Stop
and this
it.
Gonna sound bad, Tracy. Tracy, it's gonna sound bad. It's gonna sound bad. People in East Palestine literally could give a rat's ass about anybody else before this happened to them. And I'm confident to say that because they overwhelmingly, over 80%, vote for Donald Trump. The only way you can continue to vote for Donald Trump after 2018, maybe, is if you are intentionally that much of an asshole.
But
you have to be an indecent person to still vote for Trump after 2018. Now,
I guess
I
I
get
don't
your
care
point.
that 100. I don't care if 100%
No.
of the people vote for Trump. Their
That's not
governor
my point.
still should declare a statewide emergency.
I agree. Right, because that's not my point. That's not my point. Right? The human suffering is real. The fact that the government should respond is real. The fact that the corporation has been intentionally negligent in deferring the proper care of their stuff is real. All that's real. I don't want nobody suffering from some external force coming in. What I'm making a point of is I can't just forget that you were fine with someone else's suffering until it became your suffering. So, yes, there are a lot of problems with East Palestine, just like there's still problems with Flint and still problems with Jackson, Mississippi.
Exactly.
All over the place. We always do whatabouts, right? I'm good at it. I do a lot of whatabouts. But I'm still gonna bring it right back and be like, y'all didn't give a rat's ass about anybody else. So it's like, this should be a wake-up call to everybody.
But is that
get your heads out your ass and focus on being an American?
Is that not American human nature?
That's what I was going to say. That's human nature. Yes, it is, because look how easily we forgot about Flint. Look how easily we forgot about Flint.
It's all disaster.
Not human nature. It's American culture, but it's not human nature.
Look how what we did with the shootings, all the mass shootings. Talk about it for a week, 2 weeks maybe. Then just wait till the next one happens.
That's socialization. That is our culture. But part of that is because we don't stay in.
Go ahead.
We don't stay engaged to change the things that we can change. That's why these things keep happening. We're not intentional about who we're voting for and why. We are still, and I'm bringing it right back to the vote, even though the vote is one of the weakest tools we have, it is a tool that we have. And despite all this, despite all the number one reason for death for people under the age of 18 is gun violence. The fact that, something like 30, 40, 50% of gun deaths is suicide. The fact that they relaxed the rules to keep people with mental issues from being able to get access to weapons. I mean, all this stuff. But once we get to that voting box, what happens? Red team, blue team.
Every time. And that's what I mean. That's what
Red team, blue team. So that's an American thing.
That's an American thing. I'll take back the human nature thing. I meant this. I should have said. I didn't say meant. I should have said that's an American thing, because we would sit here and look at a blue state. And we can look at any disaster that a blue state went through. We got to vote. We got to look at. We got to analyze. We got to put a committee together before we give them any type of money. A red state, we got to save their ass. And if you don't believe me, look at Florida. Try to explain to me how long did Florida have to wait for any assistance from the federal government? What was the time frame on Florida?
You don't even have to look. See, this is where I get uncomfortable. Because it's like y'all saying, well, because they voted for Trump, that's just what they get.
No, I'm not even
That's
saying
not what
that.
we're saying.
That's not what I'm saying. I literally said what I said. A blue state would get a committee to look at it to decide if they're going to get any kind of funding from the federal government. Florida is a fucking automatic damn.
But that's a different degree. The reason that the federal government cannot step in the way they should in East Palestine is due to the Stafford Act. The Stafford Act says that the federal government just can't come in. The governor first has to declare an emergency. Period.
I agree.
Then the federal government gets to move in. They can't just move
I'm
in.
talking about a blue state that flat out said.
Yeah, but DeSantis declared an emergency. Biden just couldn't move in with assistance. DeSantis had to declare an emergency first, then the federal government can move in. He couldn't just move in without DeSantis saying, hey, we need your help.
I fully agree with you, Tracy.
DeSantis will be the first person who will sit there and talk as much smack as he possibly can about Biden.
He did. Of course he did.
And everything else that he could possibly can.
Yeah, being woke.
And then when a disaster happened, he has no problem whatsoever. The minute that he can say, this is a natural disaster, we need to do something about it.
He picked up that phone real quick.
Out to get those fundings, grab those fundings, and then pretend like, okay, thank you for the fundings. You still a butthole. I don't like you and your whole government, and we should be run better. What I was pointing towards is not anything else. Blue state, red state. Disaster. Declare a disaster. When it comes to the blue state, we got to put a committee together to find out if it's worth putting the funds together to go help these people, and they shouldn't have put themselves together. And lo and behold, we don't even have to go any further. And I'm not even going to say the people's name because apparently I don't want to say their name because maybe they'll knock me off because for saying their name. But we talked about it not too long ago. Florida had a disaster. Funds went down there ASAP. New Orleans had a disaster. Weeks.
Months.
But Marlon,
months.
I want to make a point. The point I was trying to make before I had to step away.
You okay over there?
Yeah, there was a weird alarm going off. I had to go check on something.
Oh, I thought you
but go ahead. But I think it's important to break things apart. There are structural issues with the way America functions that are valid, right? Everything Tracy pointed out is 100% valid. But that's not the point that I was trying to make. Like, what needs to happen is we need to look at things that happen in East Palestine, things that happen in Jackson, Mississippi, things that happen in Flint, things that happen all over Florida, things happen, and say, as an American, what is necessary to protect my homeland? And rally as Americans to protect the homeland, right? Regardless of economic position or whatever. If a hurricane hit whatever that is up there where the Obamas like to hang out up in the north.
Hamptons.
Yeah, up there. Or if out in Arkansas, 8 tornadoes come through and wipe out half the state, the response should be the same. Open the checkbook, take care of our people. These are our American people, right? It should also be, wait a minute, we've now seen in countless Midwest and mainly in the Midwest, I think, is where we've been getting to see this, even though I think it's all across the country, that we have antiquated.
It's Martha's Vineyard.
Martha's Vineyard, yeah.
Yeah,
all across the country, we have like antiquated water systems that are still using lead pipes or using pipes that haven't been serviced in 50, 60, 70 years. And regardless of the tax base, America should say, wait a minute, we've now come across this in no less than 10 locations. It's time to make this a national project and then go work on things across the country for the good of the American people, right? And at the same time, we should be looking at, okay, our president, or whoever you want to feel about him, he's still the American president. And, you know, I got my issues with all of it. But he goes to Ukraine and he's trying to help keep Russia from becoming Germany part 2, right? So you got to keep them contained now before they expand, because next thing you know, it's going to be like when Germany was ignored, and next thing you know, they were in Poland and France, right?
Yep.
So there's a reason for all of that. So we need to be broader in how we view things and not just say, well, don't take care of Ukraine, because the alternative, which no one wants to go down, when you ask them, when they say we're spending too much money in Ukraine, I always say we live in the reality we're in right now. If you don't help Ukraine right now, what do we do instead? What do we do? No one has an answer. So if we don't do these things, there are things we have to do that we might not want to do. There's things we pay for that we might not want to pay for. But there's a reason that some of these things are happening, and it should be happening because we are Americans. That's one piece. But then America got to do better by its people. Because the reason that you don't get a person like me on board with America is because America continues to shit on my community. So if I sit there and support you wholesale, America, you'll do all these wonderful things, but carve an exception out for me. The hell I care if you get all nice things and I'm still living in a shithole. Right? So that's, America has a lot of work to do, but I think a lot of it starts with, sounds corny, but the hearts and minds of America. Right? You don't have to like black people to decide everybody should have clean water. You don't have to like white people to decide that railroad cars carrying toxic chemicals shouldn't be able to run off the railroad tracks. Right? You don't have to like Asian people to say that there shouldn't be people putting graffiti all through their communities and setting stuff on fire. There's certain things we should be able to agree on, but we can't, because we get back to I'm tired of voting for the lesser of two evils. They're both the same. It's two sides of the same bird. It's two sides of the same coin. It is what it's gonna be. Blah 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 blah. And then we reinforce the very thing we say we don't want.
And Mickey, this is what I was saying by your comment, because I get the anger of all the stuff that you want to do to Trump and, you know, blah 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 and everything else. And you had a comment afterwards. They do it to the black community everywhere. And I sit here and say, I don't want you to treat my enemy the way you treat me. I don't want you to go that direction. What I want you to do is stop beating me and my people. And you keep thinking that you have to do one or the other. No. You don't want to hurt them. I get it. I don't want you to hurt me either. That's what I want. You hurting other people that looks nothing like me is not going to make me better. You beating another minority, another majority, or anything else is not going to bring any of my brothers and sisters back. It's not going to make any of my brothers and sisters that you put in the hospital heal faster. No, I want you to stop doing to my community, to my family, to my friends, to my brothers and sisters. I want you to stop doing what you have been doing that has been putting us in the ground for decades. You doing it to another group is not going to make us better.
You know what's funny about that, Marlon? And that's part of the sociopathy of this country, man.
Yeah.
A part of me, because I can't even figure out how to sustain this in myself, a part of me wishes I could be as vicious towards these people as they have been towards mine. I wish I could do it. Oh my goodness. Part of me is like, you know what? Y'all, some of my bitches, you done hung my people from trees. You done put us in slavery. You done stole all of our land. You done raped our women. You done fed our children to alligators. You done all types of horrible, just disgusting things. And then I'm not even. We can come forward. We can talk about how you burned down our cities, coming all the way through. We can talk about always recent as the 80s when you burned down one of our cities, drop bombs on our asses, okay? In the 80s, all right? We can come forward. Talk about all the times that you done whooped our ass and shown up with gas, fire trucks and water hoses and all that shit. Every time we come out and say, stop killing us, you send tanks in our neighborhood, right? We can go into the fact that we only 13% of the population, but we 30% of your prison population. There's a lot of shit, white folk. A lot of shit. The fact that we always twice the unemployment rate, no matter how good or bad the economy is, that's a big problem, folks. Oh, the fact that you know that the way we fund our education system, it's broken and it's based on property taxes. So that if you come from poor communities, which have been systematically kept poor, you end up with a poor outcome in school, which means you end up with more of a police presence, which means you get more of us in prison, which means, right? Oh boy, I wish I could be as vicious as y'all motherfuckers. Oh, I wish I could. Oh, I wish a piece of me wishes anyway, that we could sit here and say, you know what? Y'all scared of 2050. Y'all better be scared of 2050 because we're going to put all y'all asses in chains. We're going to put all y'all asses to work. Hey, you going to go out there and pick cotton and potatoes and tobacco. And we're gonna take your beautiful little white girl and she gonna be our little sex slave. I would love, piece of me would love to say some shit like that, but that's not us. That's not us. All we ask for is for you to stop whooping our ass. That's all we ask for.
And
we don't want revenge. We don't.
You fail to understand one little simple freaking thing that we have been saying from the very beginning, and you don't get it. You just refuse to understand. And I was saying as simple as a catchphrase, a meme, put it together, whatever it is for you to remember. And this is just as simple as this. Leave us the fuck alone. That's it. It's no nuance around this. Leave us the fuck alone.
And you know what's blowing my mind? What blows my mind is that we oftentimes get trapped in the black-white argument, which is what I just laid out a second ago. But it's the nature of the American white structure. See what I'm saying? It doesn't fucking matter. We just happen to be their favorite whooping, right? We their favorite ones to whoop on because they had already done the slavery thing. So as an American psyche, we have been deemed less than they are. Like we had to fight for humanity when they've always just been fighting for rights. You know, so there's always that ebb and pull going. But it's not just us. You look at what's being done to the trans community. They're mathematically negligible, right? Yeah. If you were doing a math equation, you would throw their whole percentage out as an outlier. Mm-hmm. Most of the people who hate trans people ain't never even met one. Exactly. Half the time, not only have you not met one, you ain't even seen one. Mm-hmm. But you hate them enough to pass laws, right? You hate them enough that you would look at an 18, 19-year-old kid and say, we are going to force you to go back to the physical state you were before you started your transition. And we don't care what it does to you. See, they play with your mind, people. I hope you hear me out there. They're playing with your mind. See, they always use the thing that will prick the emotional reaction. So what they say to you is trans kids, trans kids, trans kids, with very, very few exceptions. A child does not get to go through the transgender process until they're at least 18 years old. There are exceptions, and those are what y'all play on. Y'all play on those exceptions. But the reality is they have to be of age, even with parental support. But you're gonna victimize the whole group. And then let's say it's a 16-year-old. This is give you your make-believe 16-year-old.
Mm.
They're on hormone therapy. So their body is going through the changes to shift their gender orientation. And your solution is we're going to make it illegal for them to have any more medication or medical assistance. What is that process going to be like?
Hurtful for a lot of people.
Right? That's going to tear up your mind.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to shock your body.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to do untold horrors to that person. But when we were talking about the opioid epidemic, all of a sudden we had to lead with compassion with that motherfucker. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Right? White folks getting strung out on some fucking Oxycontin. And it was time to open treatment facilities and make sure that the healthcare system supported them and all of that. But when it's a trans person, you got no compassion. You got nothing. You got women going through. That's what I'm saying. This thing we dealing with, man, is just an evil motherfucker. Look what they're doing with women. In order for you to qualify in the states that'll give you an exception, in order for you to qualify for the exception for the abortion, you got to be damn near dead. The baby has to be rotting in your body for them to let you say, oh, okay, we'll go in and get it now.
And the deal is,
and sometimes they don't at that point.
The deal is this:
sometimes they don't.
You know, beyond a shadow of a doubt, when you put that law, rule, regulation, whatever the hell you want to call it, to make your ass feel better, you weren't talking to America. You was talking to poor America. You was talking to lower middle class America. Because you know fucking damn well if Susie Joe from the well-known name of the great state of Texas had that situation going, it's going to get done. Period. There ain't no moral values and all this other crap that you want to throw into this whole. It's the moral mentality. It's the wrong. It's your name on the line, not your morals. But
and I know we always do that, Marlon. We always do that. We use that example, right, about how rich folks gonna get what they want to get, and the poor folks won't, and it's a valid point. But it still kind of misses a point. I still gotta wonder what is it that you get out of the misfortune of others? I don't get it. I don't get it.
I can explain it to you. Say that sentence again.
What do you get out of the misfortune of others?
That you get something out of the misfortune of others. On this show, I've sat there and said, and everybody thought I was crazy, so I'll repeat myself. There are trolls out there who likes to go on the internet and act a plum fool and make yourself feel bad and talk crap to you and everything else. What do they get out of doing that? That's it. They get something out of doing it. And most of the time, I did start off by saying, because I was on my high horse and saying, if you live a miserable life, you want everybody to be miserable and blah, 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 and everything else. But I've grown up a little bit and realized, no, there's some people who just really effing enjoy this. There are people who just enjoy making other people miserable, period. It's not a psychological thing or whatever. They wake up with that stuff.
They are. Those are your super Karens, right? But what I'm talking about is we're talking huge collections of people who have come together of shared intent, right? Segregation. Those were groups of people, shared intent.
All you're doing is taking that single-minded Karen and finding them a group of single-minded Karens.
No, you're not. It's more than that. It's more than that.
The thing is, here's the deal.
The reason why I say it's more than that is because they're running entire structures, and they're coming. Most times they say, there's a whole other discussion, but they say they're coming out the church. Whatever that thing is y'all coming out of is not a church. You can hang as many crosses as you want to. You can read out of the Bible every day if you want to. The fruit of what you are ain't got nothing to do with that faith you claiming. That's that. But these people aren't like individually taking their joy from it. There are those who were in the vanguard who kind of are, but the people are not. Right? Like, I call people who vote for Trump at this stage indecent. I really do. I think you're bad people. And I know they told me, don't say that to people. It shuts down the conversation. And I'm done talking to y'all asses. I don't care. You're an indecent people. Right? Because everybody has a hierarchy of what matters to them.
Jeez, what other conversation do you want to have?
Well, because there's always this thing, and it's huge here in America, that you don't want to shut down the conversation because you want to bring these people back into the fold. You want to bring them back into society because for whatever reason, white people are always redeemable in this country. And I'm telling you, no, individuals are redeemable. And if you have an individual that you think is redeemable, put forth all the effort because life matters and life is valuable and life is worth it. Okay. So you go help that person. But as a collective, them jokers is bad. Talking about Trump voters.
Yeah.
Them jokers is bad.
I will talk to Republicans. I will not talk to somebody who will still vote for Trump now.
If you identify as a Republican at this point, I can't even talk to you. Because what are you really holding on to? Fiscal responsibility? It's not true. Y'all ain't never been about fiscal responsibility. Family values? Not true. You're not fighting against the people in your party that's doing this craziness. The Republicans are the main ones who still, they might not like Trumpism, but they ain't got no problems with the abortion ban. They don't have no problem with corporate structure and greed.
What's always killed me about Republicans when they do the whole fiscal responsibilities, and the Republicans are known for their fiscal responsibilities, when history have showed that every Republican president has had a deficit, every Democratic president has had a surplus, balance / surplus. But
they did better with it.
In the last 60 years, I think that's right, though.
We done better with it because look where we started. That's my point. If you're buried in a hole and then you dig yourself out and you still land on the ground, you're still better than when you was dug in the hole. So to sit there and say, well, you did a little bit better than the last Republican president. Hey, look what you gave us to start with. I remember when they started with Obama after Bush, and the first thing they was like, look at how the economy is going. Oh, I'm sorry. You gave this sucker 4 years to F up the economy. You're giving Obama 1 to fix it. Are you serious with this? Yes, actually, I apologize. You were actually serious about what you just said. Now let's look at morality. You put in a president who literally broke every effing 10 commandments in the dang on Bible. And
I don't even know what they are.
There may be some that we may not know about, but you kind of actually did break every damn commandment in the 10 Bibles. F your morality.
Yeah, but then And like the measuring stick is just completely screwy. That's why, like, before, I'm not even sure of the year, but Biden took office, what, 2020? In theory, 2021 effectively, but 2020 was the
2020,
election, right?
2021, yeah.
All right. So
Yeah.
I would say
Let's
I
put you in
saw
bracket.
or would acknowledge a distinction between Republicans
Yes.
and
Mhm.
Trump Republicans till around 2018. By 2020, when you got the Jan 6 terror attack on January 6th of 2021, there's no distinction anymore, right? There's none. Because even the Republicans, the fact that you still identify as a Republican, it means that when it comes time to vote, you can't vote for a Democrat.
Mm-hmm.
Just on principle, you can't do it. It's that deep. Republicanism is a religion for their people. So the fact that you still call yourself a Republican is because you cannot vote for a Democrat. You might not vote for Trump. At least that's what you'll tell me. But you can't vote for the ones who oppose what is no longer really the party you say you support.
The closest that you would ever get to not saying that you would not vote for Trump is just that. You will vote for every Republican, senator, congressman, governor, mayor, whatever, and you would literally skip Trump.
Right.
And
You'll vote for the fancy.
But the funny thing about it is, they will look you square in the face and go, I ain't vote for Trump. And feel good about it.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
But you realize
because
you also just voted for Marjorie Taylor Greene. You also just remember that you voted for Laura Boebert. You also just remember you voted for Ted Cruz. You also just remember that you voted for whatever little sicky boy is. You voted for all these same people who may not be Trump, but have Trumpism.
Well, that's it. Trumpism is just Republicanism.
Yeah.
It's all it is. The difference is that Trump is more about the fascist side, right? Republicans are fascists anyway, but they are willing to temper some of their more extreme positions to play the game. Trump came in, he's not even a real Republican. Trump has always been a mercenary, always. So he saw there was a weakness in the Republican Party. He hated Obama. He picked up on the energy. He stepped in and he did what he had to do to become the Republican. And so now they all flock to him as a definition of a thing that he never was to begin with. Because what they're adhering to is not about politics. We are not in a game of politics. We really are not.
It's ideology.
Right. It's ideology. It's a religion to these people. The Republican, conservative, Trumpist, MAGA, all these terms mean very little to these people. All it is we don't like the diversification that is happening to the country. Mm-hmm. And most of these Trump voters, the Trump voters, haven't truly thought it all the way through. They are truly running off of the emotion of the religion, right? And so they're feeding off of the energy. That's why the most frustrating debate to get into is with a Trumpist, because you're just going to get sound bites and circle jerks and all this stuff going on, because they didn't got nothing. They got nothing.
They'd have nothing.
Right? They got nothing. They got whatever they heard.
They have headlines. They do not have details.
The same stuff that they said in 2018, 2019, 2020. It's no different.
They have no policy positions.
Nope.
They have zero policy positions. Zero. Right? They were so lost that they couldn't even come up with a platform for the 2020 election. Right? That's how far gone the Trump side is. But the Republicans, I would say, are worse. Because the Republicans are the ones who are just playing the game. See, at least the Trump people, They believe this, right? They're dangerous. You have to defeat them. You're not going to convince them. You're not going to convert them back over, because these are people who for the most part weren't even engaged in politics. They didn't want nothing to do with it. They'd already given up on politics. They were just minding their own business and living in their grievance. And then Trump gave them a reason to come forward. That's your Trumpist crew. The Republicans were like, okay, that's a lot of our people, and we're cowards and privileged. We don't want to fight them.
Let's roll with who
Right?
has the most power.
White
Let me
supremacy.
replace that. Let's roll with who has the most power at this time. Because now you see a whole bunch of them sitting there turning their back on Trump and everything else, because I said it. He lost a substantial amount of power, so now they turning. Don't get it twisted, folks. Like we was talking about Liz Cheney. Oh, Liz Cheney, yeah, Liz Cheney on our side. Liz Cheney, go as far back as his daddy and then look me square in the face and say Liz Cheney is on our side. Liz Cheney is Daddy Jr. Seriously.
Liz
Cheney
Cheney is trying to protect her brand.
On our side. Liz Cheney found out how dangerous Trump was and decided to put an end to it. It ain't got jack to do with us. Trust me.
That's what the other
It has
side
nothing to
does
do with
anyway.
us. Nothing to do with us. She was just trying to take down a higher power. That's it.
Yeah. That's all it is.
That was it.
That's why I'm saying the Republicans are more dangerous than the Trumpists, because the Republicans are actually putting planning and thought behind what they're doing. Mm-hmm. Right? The Republicans are the ones passing these laws. It ain't the Trumpists.
It's not Trumpists.
The Trumpists are just giving energy. But Republicans are out here targeting Black people, Latino people, LGBTQ people, trans people specifically. They are out there in force because they got the cover of the angry people in the street, and then they can do their dark, dirty work in the state house. Right? And that's the danger that I see. So when someone says that they are a Republican, I don't give you any distinction between being a Trumpist, because you're doing the same work. Right? You're the one who will. The Trumpists, use a slave analogy. The Trumpists are the ones who they run the plant. They're the plantations in the Caribbean, right? They kill so many slaves that they have to constantly keep shipping more slaves in from the continent, from the African continent. The Republican Party is like the American chattel slavery system, where they're not trying to ship more in from the African continent. They decided to just breed us here. One's going to kill you faster, the other one's going to kill you just as sure, and neither one of them want to see you free. That's the enemy we're dealing with. But people are obsessed with, I don't know, seeing the good side of people. I don't know what people, I don't get it.
About that one.
There's also a big difference between the politicians and those who, say that they're Republican. A lot of people don't look at policies, issues closely. They do what they are taught in a Republican sense at their father's knee. And they just keep on doing it because they don't know anything different. And yet they still have a lot of the same concerns.
Yes.
Like their kids, their grandkids. It's... I will
but
not...
they don't want it for my kids and grandkids.
They is the policies and procedures and Republicans and Democrats too.
Mm-hmm.
Do you believe in the policies and procedures that you feel is better for America, or is it just a family tradition? And you have to make that decision. Is it really just a family tradition that this is the way our family has done things for generation after generation after generation. Even when you see the goldfish dying on the stool, you are still going to do what you have been told because you have been told since you were 3 years old and understood what people were saying.
And right, because I get what Anna's saying. That
Anna was absolutely
just
correct.
because somebody is a Republican or a conservative or even a Trumpster, as an individual, they don't walk around each day in their life trying to find out how to hurt somebody. Right? They want to raise their family. They want to take care of their children. They want to go to work. They want to work a job that is respectful and respects them. They want to be able to retire and then have the grandkids around them. They want to celebrate Easter and Christmas, and they want to go to the school play, and they want to do all the things. Just be a normal person raising a family. But your political positions exclude other people. You don't give a damn about what's happening to other people.
No.
That's why I continue to condemn them. That right there.
You
can be great on every other level. You can be great Monday through Saturday, but if you are hanging black folks on Sunday, I condemn you. I don't care.
Believe that what I say, that is what they will consider. Then, in the middle, and now. That is what they consider family values. When they talk about the nuclear family, that's what they're talking about. Right. They are the sweetest, kindest, most gentlest. What we was talking about the teacher from last week that sat there and go, look at all the black people that's leaving. Ha ha. And Thea's flat out said, yes, this is the teacher that will hug your black child in the morning and love all over them and everything else. But this was her ideology all freaking alone. Yes. Because that was their family value. Outside, inside world. Outside, inside world. Tracy, internet is going bad. I knew she was freezing for a second there. We're going to go ahead and move on because I think we'll just be talking in a circle. And I would do the dubious F you all, but for people that's been watching this show long enough, you already know how we feel. So, yeah. Last video of the night. I'm not going to take this down because it's like 18 seconds, but dude, do you really honestly want the answer to your question?
As a conservative from the great state of Texas, I am deeply concerned because every time I use the Tic Tac application, I am served nothing but dancing, homosexuals, fluffers, and drag queens. And I'd like you to explain right now how algorithms work.
What's a fluffer?
You don't want to know. That's something
for him to bring that up. He should know.
That's something that's something that you need to look up on your own time. That's not something we're going to remotely discuss on this show. Dude, do you really want to know the answer to that question? Because no, you really don't want to know the answer to that show. You definitely don't want to go and the algorithm. Can you explain to me how the algorithm works?
I don't know what your search history is like.
Bro, either you or somebody that's using your device. Lord, poor Tracy trying to get through.
Oh, I know her pain. I know her pain.
Hello,
He's on the phone
everybody.
now?
Yep, I'm on the phone now.
Oh, God, bless your heart.
I don't know.
I ain't gonna laugh at you. Thank you, Tracy, for coming back.
My internet connection just
Mean old
stopped.
Mara.
Yeah, that's a good algorithm. Is it?
Analogy. Not algorithm.
God. Okay, it's late. Forgive me. there's a certain point that someone becomes responsible for their own bigotry, even if it's taught to them growing up. Parker, yes and no. I'm going to explain it to you. We are on the outside looking in to. Really, Tracy?
I'm trying to get this right.
Because that wasn't it. I have sat here and said beyond a shadow of a doubt, people who have grown up and raised in and died in small-time rural America, where they have no access to the outside world whatsoever, nor do they want to. Honestly, it literally is what it is. You can shake your head all you want to, because I got proof of it when I see so many people who have grown up in small town America who did grow up a certain way, and then they go to colleges outside of their little small town, and they realize it is a freaking Tracy, you're beautiful.
What I do now? Put the camera up there so I have to keep moving.
When they go out of small town America and they go to colleges where they experience things that they say they have never experienced before. They have never known a black person a freaking day in their life until they went out into the bigger world. I ain't gonna say the real world, but that's effed up. To a bigger
I
world.
agree with you.
I
agree with you, but where I was concerned was you said that, because I think Parker is basically saying the same thing you just said, but you were saying that they're not up to a certain point. They're not responsible.
Are you responsible for something that you, quite frankly, never experienced, ever?
It depends on what it is.
I know.
I didn't experience anybody kicking puppies, but I know you're not supposed to kick puppies.
Wait a minute. Did somebody bring up the? I didn't say did you see it, but you did know about it. You know, dog fighting is wrong. You know, dogs fighting together is wrong. Unless you grew up in a society where all you saw was freaking dog fighting and you thought it was wrong.
Dog fighting is wrong, please.
Dog fighting is wrong.
Like putting bets on dogs and making them fight
just putting bets on dogs, encouraging your dogs to fight.
So let me be very clear. I do not advocate for dog fighting in any way, shape, form, or fashion. The reason why I just said is similar to the point Marlon is making. If you grow up in a community where people don't come in, they only go out, okay? Yeah. And in that community, you're taught racism. You're taught bigotry. You're taught xenophobia. Mm-hmm. And so it's just a normal thing in your world. And then, for whatever reason, you start to interact with the wider world. And you run headlong into the stuff that you were taught is normal
and now
is actually antisocial.
And now,
and a problem.
Now the decision is yours. But now it would be.
Where I was finding a distinction, and I'm probably clumsy in my words, and I apologize for it, is where I misunderstood you. Because to me, what Parker was saying was there's a point where you are responsible for this thing. And I'm curious where that point is for you. For me, I made an arbitrary line of age 25. I don't know why I made it at age 25, but that's an arbitrary line I made, right? Because by then in my brain, even if you were taught that dumbass shit as a child, first of all, unless you were taught that dumbass shit as a child and you never got to watch TV, which is possible because a lot of these closed off communities, you go to church, you go to school, you come home. You go to church, you go to school, you come home. And then your church is your school. So it's like, right? They keep you very, very, very tightly wound so the outside world can't get to you, right?
By
So then the
design.
first time you start to learn might be around age 18, 19, when things don't add up and you're having to wrestle through things that don't add up. By the time you're 25, though, I have no more excuses for you.
And that's what I'm
Perhaps
saying.
you still were in a closed off community and you never got a chance. I don't know. Maybe that's true. But I don't care. By age 25, you get this work. You are an enemy if that's what
Oh
your
no, no, no.
mentality is.
Oh,
I'm not trying to convert you. I want you defeated. And
let
if
me
something
let me
bad happens
rephrase
to
what I
you,
was
good.
saying. Yeah, let me rephrase what I was saying. Let me rephrase what I was saying because I misspoke. It is two parts. One, when do you take responsibilities in your actions when you find out that you was brought up in crap? One, if you really realize that you was brought up in crap, but you still fighting to keep the crap, now you're responsible for any and all actions from this point on. Period. That's it. We're done with it. Two, don't get it twisted because I know people will try to use this. So I'm going to make it perfectly clear. If you grew up in a small, rural, racist, bigot, homophobic, xenophobic America, and you decided you're going to stay there because you really enjoy your racist, bigoted, homophobic, xenophobic America town, now you do take responsibility. So this, in part for me, and I'm just speaking for myself. At 25, he's correct. Because if you decide to stay into that town because it's more comfortable for you, in other words, and I put a caveat to it, because what I'm saying is for the people who have the ability to go out into the real world, and you realize that the real world's a little bigger than what you expect, and you do have a glimpse of what the real world is, and you automatically made the assumption that I'm not going to agree with the real world, so you decide to stay where you at because it's more comfortable to be in this little bigoted little town of yours. Yeah. The only thing I would change is the age, because whatever age you made that decision. Dia said 25. I say 18, 19, 20. If you made that decision because it was more comfortable for you to be in your small little world and actually go and explore, you've made that decision. That was your decision. You're grown. Remember, you're grown. You're grown. You made that decision. What I was pointing towards is I cannot dictate 16, 17, 18 people who grew up in a society like that since the age of understanding anything that's going around to them and make them the enemy. Because I can't sit here and tell you if I look at the hood and at the hood, this is how you was brought up. This is the world that you was in. If you was brought up in the mountains and this is the mountain life and this is how you was brought up, I can't sit here and tell you, oh my God, how could you not understand? Because I wasn't brought up that way. It just dawned on me about a story
I get it.
a long time ago
I
when I was
misunderstood. I apologize.
No, because a lot of people didn't understand this. It's the equivalent of I went to Maryland one time, and somebody literally looked at me and go, "Ooh, you got a country accent, ha ha ha!" And I just looked at him and went, "Because I grew up in the country. What accent did you think I was going to have? Like, did you think I was going to have yours? It's where you was brought up." What I agree with you, Theus, is so. Well, I think I agree with you, or I'm going around in a circle because it's late. Once you have an understanding of the outside world, and you still decide upon yourself to stay in your comfort zone, instead of expanding and learning and growing, that is your decision. And you do become
Well,
an
I think but that's where I think, and this is clumsy because I know I'm not making my point well. But thank you for clarifying because I did misunderstand you, and I apologize for jumping further out. But
oh, by the
it's
way,
like
before you say anything, OMG, I just looked up fluffer. Yeah. You, you're gonna have to look that up.
Wait a minute.
I ain't looking. I'm just going.
Don't, Tracy.
Don't.
Yeah,
Tracy?
sometimes
No, Tracy. No.
Please don't.
No.
you know I am because you just told me not to. I wouldn't.
It has to do with making porn.
There's no way of actually saying it. It actually has something to do with.
Could you spell it so I can Google it?
It literally.
It's just
Honey, it's the people that keep people aroused for porn.
Oh, okay. Thank you, Anna. See, that's all
I
you
thought
had
they
to
just
say.
took pills.
No, they have people.
Oh, so it's the understudies. Okay.
Mm.
All you're going to say.
Okay, we're
I
gonna
mean,
go.
you got the star, and then you got the people who have to keep helping you rehearse.
Why you
to be
people
ready for
determined
when
that you're
it's your
gonna get
turn?
me kicked off the freaking air? What is it?
I didn't say nothing.
You did say something. I want to get
The
off
stuff I'm saying is
This is an adult show, Marlon.
And
Yeah,
the
it's
stuff
not
I'm
like his
saying is more
children up
coded than
on
what you were
Sunday
saying.
morning watching this. They're asleep.
Let me put it to you this way, then. Okay, no, it's not the understudy. This
It's
is
yeah, look on Wikipedia.
it's
I just found it.
literally their job. That's all they do. That's what they get paid to do. They will never ever be on film
in front of the camera.
In front of the camera. That's it.
Okay. Well, anyway.
Look on
Anyway.
Going
That's
back.
where I just went.
Thanks, Mickey.
Anyway, it's just wonderful to know that there are so many different ways in America to earn a living. So,
I will definitely be cutting this part out on the replay. There is and then Theus is gonna come and say something so freaking damn awesome and philosophical that I wouldn't know how to actually cut it out. So yeah.
I don't know why you would want to cut it out. We're just talking about, the modern ingenuity of American.
But I do have to admit one thing. So I may take back what I'm saying because I do have to admit that everything that I'm saying kind of makes it seem like it's undesirable, when it's kind of funny that in America, where everybody wants to get rid of pornography and everybody wants to get rid of strippers without the realization that this industry stays in business because of males in America.
Hey, no, stop now. Yes,
Dude,
we are the number one consumer, but women watch a lot of porn.
And look at the money.
All watch porn. Come
No,
on.
we don't all watch porn.
All the toys, them toys made from ladies.
Wait a minute.
Not every woman. We're just saying it's not a male exclusive thing.
When it comes to porn, it is a male dominated thing. When it comes to toys, that is a female dominated thing. It is totally two different things.
And I also want to make sure this is very clear. You are being far more upfront and graphic than the rest of us. We are using coded language. You keep just using the word. Just use the word.
Had to open the door.
So anyway, talking about so that you have fun splicing things. So about the people who grow up in the Eastern in East Nowhere. I just want people. It's just the problem I have that I wrestle against is that even in areas that don't have good internet, they have cell phones, which means they have cell signals, which means they have internet. So aside from that small group that has no access to outside information, which is a very, very small group in America, I just can't understand why we are so obsessed with giving people the benefit of the doubt of saying, well, they came from this little community, and because they're from this community, they just don't know any better. So they didn't blah, blah, blah. No. you may have never interacted with a person of another ethnic group. Because like I was watching videos today, and they were like, all white towns in Ohio and all white towns in Indiana, like they were doing that. It was like it was some stuff like that. And we're talking about demographics of where the town population is like 1,200, 1,500, and is 98, 99% white. Okay. So yeah, you could be from those communities, and there ain't nobody who don't look like you around you. That's fine. You got TV, you got internet.
Which you assume is a wide open space for everybody, though.
Now, I'm not making any assumptions. Well, I am making some assumptions, but I'm not making those assumptions. I am saying you have TV and you have internet. Okay? So you can't, in this day and age, now I may go back 40 years, we make a different argument. 40 years would only been the 80s, right? Yeah. Go back 40 years and you might be able to make this argument.
You can put it in the 80s. We didn't have jack in the 80s. We didn't have internet, cell phones, or any of that stuff.
We did too.
That's why I said you can go back to the 80s, maybe.
Big days that was bigger than your head.
It went like this.
That was the 80s?
But not the internet yet. That was 1995.
That wasn't the 80s.
But even in the 80s, you didn't have internet, but you had music videos and you had TV channels and you had all this stuff. So it's like, I'm just so, what this all comes back to me, it might be my bias talking here, but it's like, it's still censoring whiteness. It's still trying to find a way to coddle this group that is you just don't expect as much from them. That is wrong. It's insulting to us and it's insulting to them. It's just not right. Just because you didn't grow up around other people, you might be ignorant to some things, right? You may be ignorant to social cues and, you can be ignorant to some stuff, right? And you're going to say dumb things. You're going to have dumb beliefs. You're going to have all that stuff. But things like racism, one, it has to be taught to you. It has to be taught. Two, it has to be reinforced. And three, you have to willingly just ignore everything else. So if you are wandering around, you're 19 years old.
You should have some internal compass that says,
yeah. You might not get it right, but something should kick in.
Yeah.
I get that, but I understand that there is a certain level, and let me finish because I know what I'm saying sounds like a bunch of crap and I'm giving them a chance to get off and I'm not. There is, to me, a certain level of racism. You hanging black people is like the creme de la creme of it, and I couldn't even find a way to help you out to figure out why you thought that was okay. Killing is killing. If you even want to boil it down to the purest form, hey, killing is killing. Whether you think that was okay or not.
Killing isn't killing.
I'm not even going to get into that one.
There's some levels to that.
Other than self-defense?
Yeah, I mean, there's accidental homicide.
That's getting deeper. I'm literally talking about. I'm literally just talking about they hanging you because of the color of your skin.
Oh, because remember, I don't have a problem. I think it's okay with people to be racist. I think if you're a racist, you should be able to be racist. I'm just saying, keep that shit in your mouth. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think that it's unfair to tell someone that they can't hate black people. You can hate me for being black. That's your right. I do that. That's fine. It's when you take your hate and weaponize it to harm someone.
And I know exactly where he was going with it. If you want to be a racist individual who spew racism, knock yourself out. As long as your racism doesn't affect my life.
Right. Like if I overhear a white guy, because it's always black and white conversation, right? I overhear a white guy at his table at a restaurant say the N-word to his friends or whoever's at his table, and none of them are black, okay? But he uses those words. I'm gonna be offended because I hate that word. That word is a word of violence to me. But he's not targeting it at an individual. He's not saying it to the waiter. He's not saying it to the people at the table next to him. He's just being ignorant and racist. I do not think that I should then be able that I should not to be able, but I don't think that I should then take a picture of this man, put it on social media, and say, "Do you know this man? Because he said the N-word 15 times while I'm trying to eat dinner, and now he didn't get fired. He gets fired from his job because his job doesn't want to be hiring a racist." That's wrong. Let that man be racist.
Totally disagree. Absolutely 100% totally disagree. And you already know that I disagree on that. I totally disagree. If you have the ability to use the N-word out in public, I don't give a rat's ass if you with Mother Teresa. If you have the ability to say that word out loud with your friends, with your co-workers, with anybody else, and you are comfortable and calm and fine with doing that, you deserve the consequences of it. Because I don't know what your job is. Your job may be...
But now you're making assumptions. Now you're digging into hypothetical.
I don't
and
care.
I didn't say that he was yelling it. He's just saying it. And bye, Tracy.
Oh, you go.
But
I'm sorry. Tracy,
No.
what I'm saying is,
Tracy had a question. I'm sorry. Tracy wanted to say something.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Y'all do realize we said no more 3-hour shows, right?
Yeah, but this is good.
So my point, though.
Okay.
All right, so I'll leave it at this. My
If you
point
need to
is,
go to bed, honey, go to bed.
Yeah, I'm gonna change the rules and regulations on one thing. If anybody wants to jump off, please do so. Please do not think that you're obligated to stay on here for the full veracity of our show. Because one, I don't think anybody actually watches our full shows. They actually, and I got proof of this now. They don't watch our full shows, and I understand why. Because I don't.
It's a long time.
I don't.
Hell, it's longer than X-Men.
I know, but two, and most importantly, what people wind up watching is they wound up watching the reruns of the shorter versions of our show, and they watch that religiously, or they get to the point of watching it religiously. So if anybody in this panel, if anybody in the group wants to leave, please just do so. Please do not feel that you are obligated to stay for the whole duration. But as long as we're putting out gold and everything else, I feel like I'm obligated to do it. If we get to the point where we're talking about Mickey Mouse and Donald Duck and what their child would look like, I think it's time for us to go. And I will pull the plug and just go. So,
well, just to say, unless Mickey Mouse or Donald Duck are transgender, they're not going to be able to have a child biologically anyway, even if you could do a cross-species jump like that. But anyway, my point, though, is
when there's a will, there's a way.
But what I was saying about the racists at the table next to him is, I'm not talking about he's yelling it, like he's not being belligerently crazy with it. It's just he says it, and he says it more than a few times. But it's me hearing him, not him actually targeting it. And you're saying that no, that's still fair play. But then what if you flip that around? Because where do we draw the line then? Right? Because this is my problem with the left, the so-called left. They want to police words to the point that they become just as oppressive as the other side. Because the N-word is a word of violence. If I hear it, I'm probably going to react to it, or I'm going to have to do the math in my head to see if it's worth reacting to it. But that's my problem. That's my internal math. What if you flip it and it's a table of black people and they're calling some of the derogatory terms for white people? Or somebody else is using derogatory terms for Latinos or for Asians or for the Jewish people, right? These are all words of violence to those communities. Mm-hmm. So are we saying that now, I'm going to use stereotypical names, Jerome, he can get fired from his job because he was talking about saltines? You know what I'm saying? Like there's a line, and I don't know who gets to draw the line. I'm just saying, unless you're weaponizing the word, I just don't think you should get fired for it.
I think I have a problem with one part of what you were saying. I do have a problem with one part of what you were saying. I do feel like you're going out of your way to take a picture of this person, post them on video, and go, "Hey, do anybody know who this person is?" and all this other stuff. It's like, was you offended, or are you looking for cool points now? Because I can't see somebody. But let's flip it a little bit, and let's flip it to the fact that you go out, you're hanging with your friends, they're hanging with their friends, and you just happen to be in the industry. And I'm gonna make it a big industry, okay? You ain't never gonna excuse me, everybody. You ain't never gonna see this person. It's that big of an industry. You ain't never gonna see him. He ain't never gonna see you. Somehow you just know that y'all work in the same building, the same company, whatever. Now what do you do? Because I'm going by what you said, Thea, is that as long as your racism doesn't affect other people, you could be a racist. I don't know if this guy's racism is affecting other people. He may be
I agree.
You also may be a supervisor or a manager. So I don't know. I don't know if your racism does affect other people.
I agree. But here's the thing, though. The fact that you don't know is why it needs to stop right there. You see what I'm saying? Like, if a person, because we all hold various views in our hearts, in our minds, and they're not all wholesome, right? I have a lot of frustration towards the overarching white community, but I do not hate white people, right? I love people. I just want people to be nice to each other and not obstruct each other so people can try to do the best for their families. I want white power for white people, black power for black people, Asian power for Asian people. I want all the power to the people, as the Black Panthers taught us, right? So my thing is, I don't want it to be where we hear a snippet or a piece of someone's ill thought out positioning or belief system and then weaponize it against them when they haven't weaponized it themselves. So if you do have someone like you're saying, and this is a person who's in a position of authority, let's go and say he's a judge. Huh? So now all you can really do is now, okay, well,
I got to throw something in there. Do I know that though? Do I know that?
No, you don't know.
Okay.
You don't know. You don't know he's a judge. But I'm just saying he could be. Now, the only thing that you could do, well, you can go either way. You do know or you don't know. It doesn't matter. If you do know, right, there's still not a reaction point just yet to me. But it does now warrant, let's bring this to the attention of the right people because of the position this person holds, right? So that you can now look at their decisions and see if you can find those types of biases before you go public with it and destroy this person's career. You're a judge. I heard this. I know you're a judge. What is the mechanism for me to bring this to somebody's attention so we can find out if this bias also manifests in their decision? Currently, I don't think that system really works for us or exists, but that's what it should be. Instead, what we have is, ooh, this person says something racist. And then we just burn down the village, right? One of the things that made me so annoyed, and this is a difference, but it's related, Don Lemon. I ain't a big fan of Don. I had a lot of problems with Don. Don finally came home after Ferguson. All the way up through Ferguson, I don't know what was up with that dude. I guess he didn't think he was black. I don't know what it was. But after Ferguson, Don started becoming a brother again, right? But all along, Don Lemon has been an advocate and an ally for the gay community, the women, black people, white people. Like, Don would go to bat for everybody. First time he said that dumb shit on TV, though. White women turn on his ass so fast, I ain't even seen him. I ain't seen him turn that fast on a motherfucker before. Dropped him cold. Didn't matter what he's done for you in the past, right? even the gay community was like, right? We don't want that smoke. My point to this is he made a mistake. He said something that wasn't right. Why is it we don't give people the benefit of the doubt to the extent to say, what does your history tell me about you? And if I'm just hearing somebody at a neighboring table say some things, and I use that as the full entirety of who this person is, I'm doing what they did to Don Lemon. I'm deciding that off of this moment, you're all of these things. Sorry. Go ahead, Anna.
I only wanted to add that I never see a time where it's appropriate to put somebody's picture on social media and then let whoever rip into him. It's vigilante, and I'm not for vigilante in any form.
I've looked at so many.
There's levels for me.
For a short period of time,
and
it didn't last very long. And this is me. And it's sports related, whatever, entertainment related, everything else. Because it happened one time before that somebody said something that's racist or homophobic when they was 15 or 16 years old, and now they're professional XYZ sport. They're professional in it. And somebody goes back into their Twitter page and they find something they said. I mean, the person is like 25, 30 years old. They go back 15 years when he was 15, 16 years old and find some little racist, homophobic statement that he made. And the person has to sit there and go back on Twitter and go, look, I was young, I was naive and everything else. And I know everybody picks on me about wrestling. I get it, but it is a wrestling.
Ain't nobody picked on you about wrestling. You like your athletics soap opera. It's okay.
Tracy picks on me about it a lot. But it was a wrestler who I saw him. I looked at him. I ain't gonna say grew up with him because he's way younger than me. But I was watching his videos that he put out every day. And I saw how he acted and I saw how he carried himself and things like that. And there was a post that he did years ago before I even discovered him. I don't even think he even started doing YouTube videos before that. I don't even think he was even close to it. And he did say something that was derogatory towards a female wrestler. And he had to go on and I apologize and everything else and got suspended and blah, blah, blah and everything else. And I'm like, I really do not think Theas, you know how I feel about internet vigilante. When we was talking about oh God, what's that comedian's name?
But Chris Rock?
No.
Dave Chappelle.
Dave Chappelle, right. When Dave Chappelle made that thing that no, I'm not gonna sit here and agree with you having these homes for poor people. And everybody jumped on this dude before even understanding what the whole damn story was. And what did I say what was going to happen afterwards? You're not going to come on and apologize, and you can pretend that your ass didn't even say nothing. Mm-hmm. You're just going to move on to the next story. No, I don't like internet vandalism because it's not realistic. You go by emotions, which you yourself has hated for the longest time. Do not use emotion.
I'm just saying don't lead with emotion.
Well,
but I'm big on emotion.
Everybody who does
like whenever I think about when I think of internet vigilanteism, right? Y'all remember young black male walking through the neighborhood, nice subdivision area where he lived, and that military sergeant, I think he was an army sergeant, that was sitting there accosting him on the sidewalk, threatening him, trying to get him to react just so he could hurt him.
I agree with that.
That fool need to be on the internet.
And I agree with actions. I agree with actions.
He didn't touch him. He didn't touch him.
God,
but it was very clear what he was doing. right?
Yeah.
That type of stuff, I don't have a problem with that. But I think there's just there's levels to everything. There's levels to
Yeah.
everything. I mean, I
Yeah.
know,
It is.
but yeah, but I'm just, I just think that in general social things, people should be given a little bit more grace, even when you don't agree with them. So, like, I socially, personally condemn Republicans and conservatives and Trumpism. I do, but I'm using historical reference and context as to why I feel the way I feel, and I would be more than happy to have a conversation with and stand for everything that I'm saying. And if I'm off on a particular point, I've shown why I will apologize and say, "Oh, I didn't think of it that way," or what have you. I'm good with that. But what I'm not okay with is just some random guy or gal has a bad moment and that becomes their entire identity. I don't like that. I don't like that because people are complicated creatures. And that snippet is just, I don't know, because it feels good to go after a racist. It feels good to go after the guy who runs around saying and is yelling at people at the abortion clinic, and it feels good to go after those people. I get it, but it doesn't feel so good when it's your side.
I do agree with one part, because even forgive me, or don't. You should know me by now. Even a cracker statement is like cringy to me now.
Yeah, I won't use that word.
I don't want that word. One, there's never, ever, 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 ever going to be a word worse than the N word. The C word is bad. We get it. I don't want to use it. Because I can always use my insults are good enough that I can look at an individual and use my insults towards that individual. I don't need to put everybody in the same boat and it's them. No, I'm going to point you out as you, because that's why I said I don't want anybody to use universal things when I say them or they or them people or everything else. I'm talking about you. If you want to sit here and play this stupid game of, well, I never did. Why are you saying something? Because I didn't. Then apparently I'm not talking about you. So why are you saying anything? Or you did say something and you're trying to get off your little guilt trip, which I'm not going to let you. This is the wrong show.
I use generalities.
It is. I'm not doing.
I'm saying I use generalities and sweeping statements. I use them sometimes, but I follow up with what I mean when I say it.
Yeah,
But
I
use them.
try to do that. I try to use when I say them people, and then I will actually put a definition of what them people it is that I'm talking about. I don't ever say them, you people, blah blah blah, and everything else. Okay, Foxy's videos of the week. No, I literally sit here and tell you who you people that I am talking about. So, but there's some people who all I heard was you people. I know that's all you heard, but I gave you the definition of the you people that I was talking about. So if you want to see,
Which goes into why I say people should be given a little bit more grace. You may find that you hate them for a whole lot more if you like when I was in college, someone said to me, yeah, a young guy stopped me. He was older than me. I was like freshman. And he was like, why? He said, why should I hate you for the color of your skin when if I just get to know you, I can hate you for so much more? Right. And that has always stayed with me. So in the context of what we're talking about, why should I decide that this person is he's a Klansman, he just ain't got his hood on because he said the N-word? He might not be. He just might be one of them people who just talks loose, right? Because I know brothers who will drop not the N word because there's a different connotation, even though I can't stand it, but they'll drop the negative connotations for women, for gay people,
Yep.
for white people, right? None of the words are on parallel with the N word. But that's because I'm a black person saying this. So to me, none of the words are on parallel with the N word. But if I was a Jewish person, like the European Jewish person whose family died in the Holocaust, there's a couple words.
Yeah.
Hit them just as hard. You know, so I'm not going to get into the pain Olympics here, right? But I am saying that when people sometimes you got to take intent. I think intent and context should matter. I think that those things, those are the things that should matter. It took me a long time to get there. Ooh, boy. Tracy ready to fire all of us.
Y'all can keep going, but I was going to say.
I can't hear you, Marlon.
I don't know why that angle of Tracy has been the best angle that I've ever seen of Tracy. You look literally like a different woman, and I don't even know why. You can have a confused look on your face all you want to. I don't know even.
To me, it's kind of fuzzy.
It is a little fuzzy, but
you blind. That's why you think
it's like the light is sitting on you. It's got you glowing, Tracy.
Glasses on. Just need the freaking glasses on.
Because these are reading glasses, and I don't like the glare.
Nobody cares about the glare but you. But
I care about the glare. Like I said, I'm somebody.
I am somebody.
But it's also not good to wear reading glasses for long periods if you're not reading.
Which is unfortunate because I wear them for about 10 hours a day working on a computer.
And these glasses that I got on right now.
But you're reading at that point, right?
Yeah, but it's still bad.
What I put on when I have to do work. I literally have to have these glasses on when I do work. On the internet, on everything else. However, the problem with that is they're not sexy. These are the sexy glasses. And I say they're the sexy glasses.
I don't have sexy glasses.
Because my wife told me that these are the sexy glasses. So these, but I can't see a damn thing. Everything look fuzzy. I have to put everything up to 150% to actually read the screen and everything else. Otherwise, y'all will have to read it. So here's what I figured out. The first hour, I'm going to be sexy. The second hour, I'm going to be effing practical because that's irritating the crap out of me. And I'm going to be practical. And I know what this is saying. There's a glare on it. You don't have that much of a glare. I have. Wait.
Oh, I'm sitting in a position where you won't get the glare. If I move just a little bit, you start getting glare.
But see, I have to do this, and this looks real lazy. And it looks like.
And I can read Tracy's mind right now. Tracy is like, we are now having a 5-minute conversation about glasses.
And the funny thing about it is she really said something like that and not realizing that last week we had like another 20-minute after party conversation that would have been great on the show. But your feelings weird always seem to keep forgetting to have an after party thing set up so we can have an after party discussion so I can put on there. But and guess what? I did it again this week. So just in case. So,
but that's why you don't usually see me wearing glasses. One, I grew up with glasses. I had an extended calf stage growing up. So I was
with the glasses.
So, and see, I've been told that a couple of times, and I don't like that because that means you're saying that my natural face isn't as attractive. But anyway, I wore glasses from the time I was 9 years old to the time I was 16, right? Mm-hmm. So I have a bit of a complex about glasses. And it wasn't until I got contacts that all of a sudden girls were paying all the attention to me. Now, maybe that had something to do with 2 years of working out in the gym, and all of a sudden they saw me at 17 years old, you know, with muscles all over the place. I don't know. But it coincided with me not having glasses. So I don't like them. There you go.
You want the answer to that is the sexiest man, and I realized that because I had to go through it. the sexiest man out there who has somebody who has a lot of intelligence and has a body that can protect them.
Yeah, whatever. That's bullshit. This is the
Oh
thing.
yeah, it probably is because every real thug will beat the living crap out of any bodybuilder beyond a shadow of a doubt. But
No, it's true. I mean, they get the look, and they get the intelligence. And for the right women, and this is
Anna,
message.
I'm sorry. It's
I
the
can't
way,
hear a lot of what you're saying.
Because of the music in the background.
Yeah.
Because
I'm
we're going
sorry.
another 20 minutes anyway, so let's just keep.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, non-conforming individuals, that is our show for tonight. Theus, please tell everybody where they can find you.
Really, right now, I'm gonna point you towards my YouTube channel, which is Complex Mind / Simple Man. The website is still there, but I haven't updated it in a while. Maybe I'll try to figure that out next week. But that's where you find me.
Tracy?
You can find me at Tracy Media LLC, where you will see 2 videos that I uploaded today, and one more to follow tomorrow.
Anna?
ReliaEtc.com.
We will see everybody tomorrow, where we will basically be having a potluck where we be going to a whole bunch of real or not am I the a-hole Foxy's videos of the week, because we will not have a show next weekend, and I want everybody to have a wonderful, and again, if you're new to this show, we can turn any small incident and turn it into a barrage of anything social, political, or anything else, because that's how our minds work. So until next time, we will see you when we see you. Peace.
I still say them kids set Superman up.
I still say nobody gives a damn. It's peanut butter. Nobody gives a